a good live
Ah,
stream
good
tonight.
topic.
Yes, yeah. I'm seeing this.
Hmm.
The reason why I'm making this topic is because right now we're dealing with an issue, and I know a lot of people are like, "Why are you guys talking about this again?" This is because this is what the conversation is. This is where the community is. This is what's on the mind of the people right now. So, because this is what's on the mind of the people primarily, these are our primary subjects. These are the things that we discuss primarily. Now, there are other things that we discuss as well too, like hip hop and all that stuff. But right now, these are the primary things that we discuss. So what we're discussing, and I'm seeing all over the internet, is people who are voicing Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, who are voicing their frustration with the diaspora. Okay, a lot of people voicing their frustrations with the diaspora, and what I'm noticing is, well, I have this right here, there are people who are gaslighting and trying to make it seem like the diaspora has done nothing wrong, and the only people who have an issue are FBA, and they try to regulate and frame FBA as a group or an organization. They keep trying to frame FBA as an organization to strip that away from a lineage, to make it seem like the lineage doesn't have an issue with the diaspora. It's just a small group of people claiming to be the lineage. And this is why we're having this live right now. FBA is not a group, nor is it an organization. Okay, FBA is a lineage. Now, whether you like to use FBA or Freedmen or Black American or ADOS or American Indian or just Black American in general, whether you like to use whatever you like to use, or some people use these things interchangeably. Sometimes I do. Okay, I'll use Black American and FBA interchangeably. Sometimes I might throw Freeman in there when the context fits, or descendant of Freeman when the context fits. So you do that when necessary, right? Let me make this a little bit bigger so they can see the prompt. Okay, I'm gonna do it like this. Oh, they can't see the prompt at all. I'm messing up.
I can see it. It's just a little cut off.
Yeah, okay. I'm a change it just a second. Let me just finish the monologue real quick. So they keep framing it as a group, and this is their way of avoiding accountability. Instead of having the realistic conversation with the lineage and having to come to terms with what the lineage is saying, they keep saying, well, no, the lineage isn't saying this. The lineage isn't making this an issue. It's only this group of people who claim to represent the lineage who are making this an issue. And that's not true, because we're not representing anything. This is actually the lineage collectively speaking. Now, of course, there are a handful of people who are of the lineage, who are just in love and just with this kumbaya mentality, and they are blinded to any flaws from the diaspora. But for the most part, what you are seeing is frustration to various degrees of the diaspora, and you're seeing um, a desire to delineate. Okay, now whether they want to delineate and just say Black American, or whether they want to delineate and say Freedmen or ADOS or FBA or whatever the case is, these are all the same lineage of people. Okay, it's all the same lineage. It's not no organization. Now, let me see. BX, if you can set the room, hopefully, let me change this real fast.
Hi, everybody. So, when you request up and you're allowed on the panel, immediately go on mute until directed to speak. When you are directed to speak, please lead with your race and your ethnic group. If you're over 18, you don't really have to give us an exact age, nor do you have to give us your pronouns unless you would like to. And I'm going to use myself for an example. My race is Black. My ethnic group is African American / Black American, but I culturally identify as a foundational Black American. What that means is that my ancestors can be found in the United States of America between our emancipation period of 1863 through 1865 and found on a USA census of 1870. We understand that there were American Indians here, there were freemen here, and so we're just stick to the date, y'all.
Hmm.
I understand not everybody was enslaved. You know, ancestors were enslaved. If your ancestors were not here during that period, then you are not anything that can identify as African American, Black American, or foundational Black American. You are your country of origin, which means if you have two parents who migrated here from Jamaica, your grandparents, your parents, then you are Jamaican American, Haitian American, Nigerian American, so on and so forth. For the Latinos, we understand that Puerto Rican, Dominican, and Mexican, right? It's not a race. It's an ethnic group. And so if you present as white T, then you are white T. We do understand mestizo. And if you're Afro-Latino, please say that. Also, if you have one foundational Black American parent and one parent who is not of our lineage, then you can just say that you're bi-ethnic. That's the proper term, and it's not offensive to anybody. Um, we will ask you what is your other parent, like where do they hail from? Is it, the Caribbean? Is it an African nation? So on and so forth. We ask that you just be honest so we can have the real conversation. A lot of people give pushback to it, but the 2030 censuses are changing. So African American wouldn't apply to y'all anyway at this time. They will have
Hmm.
Nigeria on it, Jamaica, Haitian, I think Trinidad and Tobago, and some islands and African nations will have to write in on a small box at the bottom, according to what we have seen thus far.
Hmm.
Also, TikTok friendly language only. You got to say things like schmurda,
Hmm.
strange fruit, unaliving, stuff like that. Do not comment fruit emojis or F1 in this chat. Just continuously tap the screen to help with the algorithm and get people in here and to show TikTok that we are engaging. Now, Afro, I think you were a little bit early, but we're going to direct them to click that orange heart up there by Afro Elite's name and complete the daily mission to help him in the algorithm and also with his rankings. Okay. So everybody is welcome to speak. Come up. I will stop you if I hear misinformation because it's about time we clear this up. We shouldn't be having people still asking us what's FBA. Sometimes I think they'd be funny. They're just being funny, Afro.
Hmm. Yeah.
If
A
they
lot of
cannot,
times, a lot of times they are. A lot of times they are. And if y'all disagree, y'all can come up and we can have a very mature, adult, sophisticated conversation about it. Okay? We can. There's no problem with that. The the thing I'm starting to realize is that there's a lot of people who are showcasing different issues. They're showcasing problems. They're showcasing issues they have with the diaspora. And the thing is that every time we address an issue with the diaspora, a lot of people who they'll lump that to FBA, and they'll say, well, that the only people who are voicing an issue comes from FBA, which are a group of people who don't like Africa anyway. For instance, when it comes to the African boycott, the woman who said it, I don't even know if she uses the term FBA. She says Black American, right? Which she is FBA if she's a Black American, but she doesn't use that. But notice how they try to make her a part of some type of group or organization just so it can be like it's not the lineage speaking out of anger, it is a group of people speaking out of anger. It's an organization who don't like Africa, and this is their way of avoiding accountability, because every time they say, well, it's a group of people and it's not the lineage, that's their way of saying we're not a real problem. Okay, that's their way of saying we're the problem as FBA and not them. So that's what they're doing. All right, let's get to, with all that being said, let's get to Black Vanguard.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Yeah, the reason why they're like saying our lineage foundation Black Americans is an ethnic group because you're right, they don't want to hold accountability because they don't want to address the anti-Black American hatred that's been
Mm-hmm.
happening towards our people since they got here since the late '60s, though. Like they don't want to address the biggest slurs they got towards Black Americans like Akada, Jareer, Abid, Abruni, Oyembu, Mazembu, these African and Caribbean immigrants, Yankee, they got all types of ethnic biggest slurs towards our people, and then we start calling them out on it So basically, they doing that basically nothing but a deflection note
Mm-hmm.
and try to label us hate group. So we won't hold them accountable. That means because they see the delineation movement has reached not only on the internet, it's reaching real life. Like a lot of these terrorists and Democratic shields, like saying is on your line. You got Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan Sanders actually mentioned Foundation Black Americans. So you got people on the grassroots all out here in California mention Foundation on Black American Freedom. So the delineation movement is in full effect. So I'm glad we holding these Caribbean, disrespectful Caribbean Africans accountable because they scared right now because them ICE raids deportations happening all throughout the country and they can't stop it. It's
Mm.
in full force. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of these Caribbean African immigrants, they're actually getting deported at a faster rate than the Latino immigrants are and these other groups are. So they're the fastest group that's getting deported. It's just not it's just not making the mainstream news like the Latinos are doing though. But they getting a lot of them probably.
Yep. Let me see. Um, you need to promote your shirts. Okay, yeah, that is something that I am working on a big promotion coming up soon of my shirts and stuff like that. And I actually am doing that. I'm glad you brought that up. But you're 100% correct. That's their way of avoiding accountability. Trying to make us seem like we're some type of hate group and we hate them. And every time they do that, they make it seem like anything that we say, any and all complaints are illegitimate. And it stems from hatred. It doesn't stem from logically analyzing our relationship and saying that y'all tripping. It stems from us hating them for just no reason, like we're jealous of them. So that's what they keep saying. And it's really not working. It's not working because the thing is that the delineation is catching on. Everybody's starting to really get on board with that. Black Americans are starting to realize the necessity of specifying our own lineage. Black Americans are collectively starting to realize the necessity of using specific terms for our lineage because we understand African American as it's used today is too vague. Well, it's always been too vague, but it's too vague because now you have people who are first generation immigrants who are claiming to be African American or Black American. So now we are realizing that we need something more specific for our lineage because African American is too vague. Myron Gaines claims he's an African American. Elon Musk, there's been articles calling Elon Musk, who's not even Black, an African American. All right. So you have people who, not even first generation, people who are born in Africa, and then who immigrate here calling themselves an African American. So, and that lumps us all in. So now we need something to specify who we are versus who they are. All right. We need a lineage that is specific and exclusive to us. So this is something that the lineage is starting to realize. All right. So, yep, you're 100% correct. Let me get to Megadon.
Yo, what's cracking? What's cracking, Joe?
How you doing? How you doing?
Man, I can't call you. You know me. I met you at the rally in Garfield Park. Tall as hell, 6'7", big on me. P friend.
Oh, okay.
What's up, Joe?
What's
I had
good?
sent you a message about the Awakening account. If you could, straighten that out on the YouTube if you get a chance on the live stream. You know what
You
I'm
send me a
talking
message on what? On TikTok?
about? On IG.
Oh, okay. What's your name on IG?
Mark is white. Or what is the real and white? Yeah, the real and white.
I'm gonna look at it. I gotta get better with my IG messages. I really do. But okay, I'm gonna look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just came from some Pan African group where they was talking about the need to lump us all together and how they gonna fight against it. I'm like, bro, this is the lowest ethnic self esteem I have ever seen. Like the desire to erase us and to identify as a flat black flat African in order to send shots at America is gonna be our destruction with their naivety. It's crazy the way this has been going down, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. They join in with other Africans to talk crazy about us and then say we the problem. It's like they have cognitive dissonance. They can't accept that we can be a people and it's wrong to harm us. That is the delusion of Pan-Africanism. We got to root that shit out of our community, bro. That shit is like the brown. Remember that doll test, that baby doll test where they had the white doll and the black doll?
Hmm.
Pan-Africanism is doing the same thing to our people, bro.
Hmm. they've literally manipulated so many people into thinking that it's some type of thing that where we should be ashamed of our nationality. No, we shouldn't be ashamed of our nationality, and we shouldn't dismiss that. And what I dislike is that Pan-Africanism, or Pan-Africanists rather, only do that. They literally only do that when it comes to Black Americans. They don't try to get anybody else to dismiss their lineage and dismiss their nationality and abandon some type of vague identity where they're trying to reclaim something from 500 years ago. Nobody else, I just want it to be known that nobody else in the world is told that the land you live on and the nationality that you have and your ancestors have, you have to completely dismiss that and try to reclaim some identity from a land that your ancestors lived on 500 years ago. Nobody else has to do that. Everybody else gets to be where they're from except us.
Even if we
They call that hatred.
and even if we did, let's entertain the argument that we did come from there 500 years ago. It was called the trade, not the theft. And people sold us, if that's the case. like,
Line. And that's something that we're starting to acknowledge, that we do have to acknowledge that. We do have to acknowledge that. Okay. Let me see. Let's get to, because we got more people coming up. Let's get to, how do you, let me see.
Audacious day.
Audacious Day. All right.
Yeah, moving forward, as we're sitting back and we're watching this, I say we're going to have to start getting involved into the police force a little bit more. You know what I mean? It has to be a little bit. We have to get more involved in things because we're getting pushed out, especially on the East Coast. The representation is getting real iffy. You don't know who you're looking at no more. They can be Jamaican, Caribbean, second generation. You see what happened with the governor of Maryland? He just stopped the reparations bill.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's too much. See, it's little things like that. It's a little bit too much. And I'll say this not in mind. I don't see Pan-Africanism working, and at the same time, them being allowed to be immigrants in this country. So they have to shoot it down. Because this government won't allow them to actually work with us openly to get reparations and still allow them in this country. It's like you know what I mean? They keep knocking it down and they keep coming in.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a thought. That's all it is. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want y'all to understand, if y'all disagree, we can have a civil conversation. But you all trolling in the chat room only goes to verify our point. And if every single last one of y'all can hit that like, tap the screen so we can get the lights up. Yeah, we do need to start getting into strategic positions, whether that's politics, and other positions where we are in control of our communities. I definitely agree with that. Let's get to, yeah, you said our enemy is white supremacy. I don't think none of us here denies that. None of us here gets that. Denies that. None of us here denies that. Everybody gets that. All right. Let's see. Okay. Y'all control, but y'all just verifying the point. Let's get to, let me see how to pronounce your name. Figai Previous.
Yes, sir.
All right.
That'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me on a platform. But I just want to say I don't see the whole FBA thing working out. I know people say it's not a movement; it's a lineage. Personally, it just feels to me it's a group of individuals.
Before you go, I hear an accent. So where are you from?
I'm from the Caribbean, Haiti to be exact.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
What state do you live in? What state do you live in?
Florida.
Florida. Okay.
Afro Elite, after he finished or Kai, we what you said though, after
Okay.
you finished, because I got something to ask him real quick.
Yeah. All right. But let's I'm gonna let you get to your point. You don't see it working out.
Yeah, personally, it comes across as a group of individual who's ashamed of where they really from. What I mean by that, like their ancestors. I don't think anybody's trying to make FBAs claim Africa. Like, say, for example, I'm from Haiti. Yeah, I get to claim me being a Haitian, but I also acknowledge that my peoples came from Africa. And I think that's all everyone else is saying as it relates to FBAs. We're not saying to completely ditch your your new identity, which is being an American. But you know, a lot of FBAs doesn't even want to acknowledge that they're from Africa. We know it's because Africa is poor. There's no other reason. I don't see the Europeans here doing that. Like, say, for example, the European Americans, they're not going around saying, "Hey, I'm English," but they proud of the fact that they're from Europe.
Okay. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish. Then we're gonna have a conversation about it. I'm gonna wait for you to.
Yeah, yeah, they proud of the fact that they're from Europe. And also, I don't see it working out. I don't know. It just feels kind of weird to me. But
Okay.
nobody's saying that. Nobody's trying to force Africanism down FBA's throat. I don't think anybody's trying to do that.
Okay. Well, to be honest, that's less than honest, less than true, I would say. Because the thing is that a lot of people right now, what they're doing is they're telling black people that we're no more American than other immigrants, okay? And this is really a land of immigrants, okay? And we've been told that we really don't belong here, all right? Even though we built this country. So it's not a thing of us denying any trace or root to Africa. It's more of us identifying with our roots here. And we've always been taught to not identify with our roots here. Your primary identity is Haiti. Your primary identity isn't Africa, because when I asked you where you're from, you didn't say Africa, you said Haiti. And yet, when black Americans say where we're from, if we say America, they'll laugh. And then they'll say, oh, well, you're not really from America. That we have several videos going around where people being all like, well, black Americans don't really know where they're from. That stuff doesn't get told to Haitians. If I ask you where you're from and you said, I'm from Haiti, I'm not going to say, but where are you really from, though? Because you're just going to stand on, I'm from Haiti. And everybody's going to be cool with that. It's only when it comes to a black American saying, hey, where you from? I'm from America. Then people be all like, nah, you're not really from America. You're really from Africa. That's how they get when we say America. So it's not like now you're dealing with the reaction um, of us pushing back against that narrative that we're not from here. Okay. So now when we push back against the narrative that we're really not from here, people say, oh, y'all hate Africa. It doesn't have anything to do with Africa or hating Africa or loving Africa. It has to do with acknowledging our roots here, the roots that we planted here, the blood, sweat, and tears that went into building the country here. The same way blood, sweat, and tears went into building Haiti. And nobody tries to strip that from Haitians. And everybody, and when you say things about where you from in Haiti, you will give a location in Haiti. You are not going to go to Africa. You're not going to say, well, I got to find out where I was 500 years ago in Africa. I can't claim Haiti. But there's a different standard when it comes to America. There's something where if we say we're from America, people say, well, that's because we don't really know where we're from. So that's where the pushback is coming from when it comes to that. Okay,
I
it's
gotta
not
say, first of all,
an
you,
identity crisis or anything.
you
Plus, FBA is not a group. There are Black Americans who use FBA, ADOS, Freedmen, Sulani, Black American, who all have a general consensus of we are from this country. You know?
I yeah, I gotta say you're definitely more respectful than a lot of FBAs. Not all FBAs take that approach. And second of all, I think part of what a lot of the people in the diaspora is saying, the FBA story is not necessarily unique from our story. Like, say, for example, I was not physically in France, but my country supplied maybe like close to half of their budget around the time that we were enslaved by them. So literally, to some extent, we built France, not just Haiti, but all the other colonies. So, like the person who say white supremacy is the issue, yeah, it's the issue in the same. We
Okay.
were all used in the same way. The only difference is you stayed in the land that you were used to build. But us, they basically extracted money from our labor, which were used to build those civilizations. So in that sense, FBA story is not very unique from ours either.
You don't.
Hold on, there's similar stories, and this is the disappointing part. Then, if our stories have common themes, the Haitians should really understand where we're coming from. Out of all people, the Caribbean, they should be in lockstep with where we're coming from. It really does. It's so disappointing, honestly, that we
I
have.
think most of us
I
do.
can almost hold on. I can almost understand if we have these conversations with Africans, but the fact that we have these conversations with Caribbeans, even though their history is similar, is not the same, but it's similar to our history, is very disappointing because y'all be on the same stuff and y'all should understand because y'all went through slavery and y'all went through colonization and y'all went through that stuff. So y'all should really understand where we coming from, but y'all act like y'all don't get it. So it's
Nah,
very disappointing, honestly.
you can't paint with a broad brush because not all of us
Oh,
doesn't
okay, yeah,
understand.
but
In
yeah, not
fact, most
all
of
of
us do.
okay,
Because
but
most of the FBAs that we encounter, they basically trying to say that they superior than any other black group. That's
no,
essentially what
no,
they say.
no,
First
I
thing
don't
they'll
think
do,
no.
a
Here's the
lot of
thing.
them do. They talk about their ancestors' accomplishment, asking you about, hey, what have you invented? What have you? But in
Okay,
reality,
well, I can't
BLK
speak.
people,
Okay,
yeah,
Sorry,
FBA is
BLK people
here's
one
around the
the
minute,
world
thing.
have
Hold
done
Faye.
on,
great
here's
One
the
things.
thing.
minute.
Hold on, brother. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
FBA is a lineage. So yeah, you're gonna run into some who are probably gonna be a little bit more aggressive in the conversation, and then you're gonna run into some who might be a little bit more diplomatic in the conversation. Okay, so it's a lineage of people, and some people have more energy in the conversation. Some people are more laid back. That's just what it is, And nobody's lumping you all Haitians into one group. Just like you said, I don't lump you all into one group, so you guys shouldn't lump all of our lineage into one group. You know what I'm saying? The difference that we're saying right now is that our history on this land is different because what happens is that other people get to come here and they'll talk about, well, back in my country, we went through such and such and such, which nobody's denying. But the problem is that y'all go through such and such on a different land and have a different history. Our history is very different here, and we've been going through a different struggle here. And when we talk about a struggle here, you all didn't, and not to generalize, but you all like to say, well, when we get pulled over, the cop ain't gonna tell if I'm Haitian or Black American, so what's the difference? It's too many of you all who are trying to say what is the difference if we all went through some struggle. And what we're trying to specify is that, yeah, we can all acknowledge that there is a general struggle, but our struggle is different, especially in America, than you guys' struggle. So it's the specification, at least where I'm coming from. I can't speak for every FBA because of course it's a lineage and I haven't heard everybody else's take, but at least where I'm coming from what I've heard is just specifying that our struggles are not the same. And it's very disingenuous to act like it is.
Me personally, I rock with Black Americans. I always have. A lot of my best friends growing up were Black Americans.
Okay.
Um,
But I mean, and I
because
might
for the
have you be
most part,
quick because there's a lot of people want to speak.
oh
So
yeah, oh yeah. For the most part, I don't see much differences between us. Say for example, we were to do a DNA test. The only difference is you probably have 20% European, but apart from that, it's gonna come back West Africa. So I don't see you guys as being that different. And like I said,
what
I
does that
think we're
have to do
different
with the lineage?
shades in a sense.
Because and people bring up DNA. What does that have to do with the lineage? Because let me ask you: is you as a Haitian? Were you born in Haiti?
Yeah,
Okay, you as a Haitian, you would say you Haitian history is very different from Jamaican history, right? Jamaicans and Haitians have different cultures, different lineages, different tribes and customs and history, right?
yeah.
So if I said, well, no, they pretty much are Jamaicans and Haitians, they're pretty much the same. If you do a DNA test, they're pretty much going to go back to West Africa. So they're pretty much the same people. There's really no difference. You would say that that's wrong, right?
I disagree. When I see a Jamaican, I see a Haitian. That's just me.
No, I'm talking about the culture. The culture is going to be different. The DNA doesn't determine nobody's culture or their history. You're not going to
I mean,
say, hold on, I'm saying, you're not going to say the culture and the history are the same because we can have some, and let's be honest, the DNA stuff is a very new science, let's be honest, and it's a science that's currently being worked on. So it's not as foolproof as people make it seem. But even if it was, that doesn't determine the history and the culture. That's not the same thing. You can't say because of our DNA being similar, quote unquote, means our culture and history and struggle is the same. Just like the Haitians culture, struggle and all that is not the same as Jamaicans. Y'all have a very different history. Okay. Now, I mean, there's similarities, I mean, but the history and the culture is different.
I
I
point out
understand where you're coming
something?
from.
1 minute, Faye. Haitians and Dominicans live on the same land mass, and
Uh-huh.
they ain't the same. Let's cut it out. Let's cut it out. Proximity or similar features or complexion does not mean same. Similar does not mean same. We have never said Jamaica hasn't gone through anything. Haitian haven't gone through anything. Even the continent hasn't gone through anything. But y'all are migrating over here to our land. Y'all are displacing us. I don't care how melanated you are like us. Even 1% of y'all can harm us on our land. Now, when we start migrating to y'all islands, then y'all try to tell us who we are and what the history should be. But until then, mind y'all business. Because there's a lot going on in Haiti that you should be paying attention to instead of a foundational Black American space.
Can I get one point in, Afro?
Also, can I say something real quick,
Yeah,
Alpha? I'm gonna say this.
I'm gonna let Vanguard go ahead, then Megdon, and then we're gonna move on. Vanguard, you got it.
Okay, so that to the Haitian person, right? Over there, you in Florida, am I correct?
I'm sorry.
Are you in the state of Florida?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Now, since we saying we are so quote unquote a hate group though, which we are lineage though, do Haitians got their own organizations specific for their own people in the state of Florida? I could name some of them. What about the Haitian Bridge Alliance? Is that specific for Haitian people? If you not Haitian or Haitian descent, can you become a member of the Haitian American Caucus in Florida if you're not a Haitian descent? Yes or no?
I want to say no, although I'm not even aware of that group. But
Is
yeah,
that
go
is that
ahead.
is that divisive though? That Haitian got their own specific organizations that cater to Haitian people, like the Haitian Bridge Alliance, the Haitian American Caucus. Are you aware of the Haitian American Caucus in Florida?
I'm not aware of it, but I would not be surprised that it exists.
Can Foundation Black Americans or Freemen could they join the Haitian American Caucus or Haitian Bridge Alliance or any Haitian organization in the state of Florida that's specific for Haitian people? Can we get some of their resources that advocated for Haitian people in the state of Florida that's specifically for their ethnic group? Can't even other Caribbeans like because I know in Florida you got even other Caribbean listeners, you got Bohemians, you got Trinidadians, you got Jamaicans, you got Dominicans. Can they get any resources from the Haitian community over there that's advocated for Haitian people? Yes or no?
I'm gonna go ahead and say probably not, but again, I don't know.
Not divisive though, because we actually saying that we look out for our own particular lineage and ethnic, just like the Haitians doing. Because the Haitians got their own sorority fraternities in the state of Florida. Did you know that?
No, I did not, but I'm not surprised.
But you should try to do your research, like Google it, and then they'll tell you Google the Haitian Bridge Alliance in Florida, Google the Haitian American Caucus, and Google the Haitian sororities fraternities that's in the state of Florida. And look
Mm-hmm.
and Google Haitian scholarships and grants for Haitians in New York City and Florida. It's a whole lot of, and also they got their own church. They got their own churches that's exclusive for Haitian people only in Florida, and New York City. Are you aware of that?
No, it's not exclusive. I would disagree with that.
That's no because you go to a lot of these Haitian churches, they got their own, they got their language in Haitian Creole over there, and you can't understand. Yeah, they got English service though, but you go to their service, they got Haitian written on their churches on there, especially in churches in Florida, New York City, because you got a lot of Haitian churches and Haitian establishments, especially in the state of Florida, New York, and also in Boston.
and they got Little Haiti in New
So
York, and
so
they
does
also
that mean I
have
should not go
chambers
to an
of
FBA church?
commerce. They also have chambers
We're
of
not telling.
commerce.
Yeah,
They're
we're
doing
not
a
telling
lot
you.
of things specific to Haiti. So I
Yeah, we
think we
not.
need to rethink about speaking
The
on FBA.
BX, you're muffled or something. I'm not sure. Like,
Yeah,
what's
but we not telling you can go to our church, but we saying that y'all got their own Pacific churches that cater to Pacific Haitian people, especially places like Florida, New York, and Massachusetts, Maryland, Boston area. But I'm not telling you can go to our churches, but we do get the scholarship programs.
Mhm.
Y'all could go get a Dr. Martin King Jr. scholarship or Juneteenth scholarship or a Historic Black University College scholarship, but we can't go get no Haitian scholarships for the Haitian community out there in Florida, New York, and in Boston.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, part of what I've always said, immigration is not new to the U.S., and it's not. We know that it's not going to stop because they have a policy of immigration. There are cases where they try to attract a certain type of immigrant groups, which I'm sure you guys are aware of. There are different types of visas out there. You guys have heard about the H-1B, and they have a yearly quota. And you also know about the declining population. It's not something that I'm making up. You have periods where countries literally, even Spain right now, is reaching out to immigrants. The only difference is they want a certain type of immigrants. They want Spanish speaking immigrants from the DR and from other places.
Mhm.
It's not going to stop. It's not that immigrants are making the US take in immigrants. The US is inviting immigrants in yearly because there's always a quota, but they want them for specific reasons.
Mhm.
So it's not something new, and I don't think it's wrong if somebody comes in the right way, based on the policies that the government have in place.
What I don't think he's saying it's wrong. I think he's specifying the fact that there are specific resources, and he's just talking about Haiti because he talked about a whole bunch of non-FBA resources. But there are specific resources that go to Haitian immigrants, okay, to give them an economic footing in this country. All right, there's specific programs, resources, and and set aside specifically for them, and enclaves where they share resources specifically for them. All right. And that doesn't get called hateful or xenophobic or gaslit into being anything negative. Yet when we say, okay, it's time for us to do for our lineage in the same way everybody else has done for their lineage, it gets told that that's divisive, that's xenophobic, that's hateful. You guys hate everybody, but it gets gaslit when what he's saying is you all have been doing the same thing that you guys are now complaining about us doing. All right. And to be very honest, we're not even there. We're not even doing
Okay.
it to the same degree, but just us having the conversations that you all have been having and us being on the same energy. You all are saying that that's negative and we should all share everything when we have the receipts of the fact that nobody is sharing nothing. Everybody's keeping to themselves. And now when we want to keep to ourselves, now it's a thing where this is negative and this is xenophobic. All right. So that's what he was saying.
Can I say
I
something?
don't know if I
And,
entirely agree
I just
with
and,
got.
you.
and
I just want to
also,
say one thing. If we pay attention, he and this is what I meant when I say immigration. They're gonna do anything in their power to keep immigration going because this is how they get out of the situation that they're in. So them working with us, doing anything in this country, it's that good for them.
Hmm.
At the same time, they're under this impression that we're here to rip off the white man in America. We are Americans. We cannot get involved in situations that we're not making the play to overthrow the government or something like that. I don't know why they keep talking like that. We are Americans. We are invested in this country. We are a lot of us is proud to be Americans.
Hmm.
Another thing.
But
So when we decide to delineate, we have to pursue the so that we know who we are
hmm.
because we have to make sure you know who you are. Every day you wake up in this country, you need to realize who you is and who you're not,
Oh,
and that is what we're trying to get you to understand.
Okay.
And if you keep listen,
Hold on. Hold on.
the more you keep talking, the more it's gonna get more. You're just gonna make it worse. You gotta understand that. I need y'all to start talking nice, a little bit more apologetically. But the more it seems like fire, it's gonna get worse. We are Americans. You
Okay,
understand?
yeah, but
I'm telling you.
let's let Megadon go ahead and say, I guess he had a comment, and then we can move
Yeah,
on.
yeah, real quick, appreciate it. So I kind of look at this like if we was having a family reunion and somebody came up and said, "Hey, can I get a plate?" He was like, "No, nah, this is just for our family right now." A respectable person would say, "I get it," and leave. But
Hmm.
no, what type of person then starts to argue that no, I'm in the family now and I deserve to get a plate? That the audacity is my real question. Like, why do people feel entitlement to come and discuss us, come and talk about us, and come and tell us that they are us? That is a sickness. That's literally a sickness. There was an identity before you came here.
Okay.
There was an identity before you came here. That's still your identity. You don't assume our identity when you change locations. You were who you were when you got here. You can hyphenate it once you become a legalized citizen or whatever. That's cool. But you don't become us. You don't become qualified to speak on behalf of us and create groups speaking for us. This is a problem. And this would we would never. If you told me a FBA went to Haiti and was talking about, yeah, us Haitians need to do X, Y, and Z, and y'all said get him the fuck up out of Haiti, get him out of Haiti, I would be like, yeah, get him out. What is he doing? That's crazy. We know better than that. We are respectful people. We know better than to go in somebody else's house and pretend like it's ours and start calling shots and moving shit around. That it's the entitlement is the thing that's
Okay.
really blowing us. And then instead of just saying, y'all, all right, we get it.
Uh,
If people that meant good for us would have been like, all right, we get it. I see where y'all coming from. Or maybe I don't see it, but I'm gonna respect that because I respect y'all. Instead, we get all y'all pretendians. Y'all hate Africa. Y'all hate yourselves. Your mama African. We get every little insult and every stream popped up talking about how we don't want to be this, that, and the third when all we said was we us and nobody else can be us.
Hmm.
We express a simple iota of ethnic pride, and now we are a hate group. This don't make no sense. Where does this entitlement come from?
oh, okay. I also wanted to say, you guys do know that a lot of the HBCUs benefit from immigrants, right? They benefit from immigrants when they issue out student visas for international students, which when they come here, they got to pay out of state, not even out of state tuition, out of the country. Yeah, immigrant tuition basically, which is 2 to 3 times more than what a local would pay.
Okay.
And these HBC, not just HBCUs, like these colleges and universities, they benefit greatly from that, and they
Okay.
issue out a lot of student
How
visas. So
about
it's not a one-way street.
let's do it like
It's
this, because let's do it like this. Let's say you're 100% correct with that, with the HBCU. Now what? Now, even if we give you the HBCU thing and say that HBCUs benefit off of H-1B visas, what does that have to do with everything that we've said so far? Because you're being defensive and you're
if
trying
we
to
talking
find things
about
to defend. You're deliberately not comprehending what we're saying. Okay. And you brought up HBCUs and that and
no, if you're
ain't had
talking
nothing to
about
do with what nobody was talking about. And even if we gave you that, now what? Now what? Now what? What does that have to do with the overall conversation?
no, I basically said that in response to the individual who was talking about, I guess a Dr. King scholarship or something like that, and he was saying that it
Okay,
should be only for
no,
FBAs,
no, because
and I
there
was
are
basically
specific.
saying,
What he's saying. Listen, there are specific. Because the thing is, we as black as FBA, we don't get H-1B visas. We do not benefit at all from H-1B visas. We do not qualify for H-1B visas. Those are specifically for immigrants. And then not just H-1B visas, but there are other programs and grants and loans and things like that specifically for immigrants. So they have their own list of things that they exclusively get to touch. And now when it comes to stuff that is supposed to be for us, they get to touch that too. So they get to double dip. And there's only one thing we get to get, and they get to get that too. When it comes to the Dr. King scholarships, that's something for us. When it comes to the H-1B scholarships, that's something for y'all. But y'all get the H-1B scholarships and the Dr. King scholarships. That's what he's saying. So that's why he's saying, okay, well, now we need to delineate because y'all coming over here,
no,
y'all really, it's a lot of y'all who are double dipping. That's what we're saying. Now, for the sake of everybody's time, we are
H-1B
gonna.
is not a
For the,
scholarship. It's just a visa.
okay, I'm saying that's a
Oh
specific thing
God.
for immigrants, dude. All right, so now we're gonna move on. All right, so let's get to black issues. Black issues with Chucka Ben.
Yeah. How y'all doing, man?
What's good, bro? How you doing?
Chilling, man. Nice to talk with you again, brother. Man, let me tell you, it was it was never no problem when we was calling ourselves African American, man. It was never no problem. Everybody was cool. But as soon as we decide to, self-identify, proclaim, now we're divisive, we're being xenophobic, we're being hateful. Now, right now, what I'm noticing, it went from being xenophobic and being divisive to now we're being outright mean, and they're trying to play the victim when they're always centering themselves in our business. We don't never, center ourselves in their business, but they be centering themselves in our business. And now they want to play the victim and say we're being mean because now we're defending ourselves, and because we're tired of hearing them trying to tell us where we're from. You know, it also, like I say, has a lot to do with the financial equation. Us being able to get reparations. A lot of this has to do with that. This is why they want to keep making every foundational Black American a generic African. People are now talking about I'm one generation, two generation African American. They're saying that because they're now trying to take claim of a claim because it is a claim that is recognized by the United States government, and then we're now moving away from that, and they're thinking they're going to move into that position by way of saying I'm second generation African American, where they can tie themselves in as tethers. That's what tethers and leeches do, to try to get some kind of claim on our reparations. All this, we're African no matter what. Here, this brother here, he from Haiti. But yet, you don't hear him tying himself into being African like that. But a brother from Haiti is so busy trying to be tying us into
Oh, I
being
am.
African. You know what I mean? And it's
Oh, I
just
am
self.
African,
So
my
if you
friend. I'm very African.
Let him
then brother,
go.
then tie yourself in. Tie yourself in. Don't leave us alone. Because see, you are not even tying in with the black people over there in the same peninsula you in. And they call themselves Dominican, and some of them brothers over there just as black as you are, but yet they speak a different language and they look at you all differently. But you're not tying them in. So why the whole being focused on us, everybody laser focus. It doesn't matter if we just have a conversation just talking about just black love and urban mobility. You all are laser focused on our business. You all are laser focused on us self-identifying. And the whole thing of it is, it's not about being divisive. It's about wanting people to respect what we are as a people here in America. Want people to recognize our heritage. Want people to understand the things that we gave to this world. Recognize that just when every time you open the door, it is a foundational Black America that allow you to have that door to open. When you sitting there trying to warm up by the radiator, which a lot of people in Africa still have radiators, it's a foundational Black America who created that thing. You drive your car, the radiator of your car, it's us. The ignition, when you cut it on, that's us. I mean, we just want people to recognize and to respect, that's the bottom line, to respect our heritage and our culture here. A lot of us did not come from Africa. There were a lot of black indigenous people here. I have it on both sides of my family. I ain't gonna go through all that again tonight because I went through it last night. I didn't grow up hearing about no African tribe, but I heard about my American indigenous tribes. Verbal history from both sides of the elders in my family who are gone now. And nobody, not you, brother, or anybody else is gonna tell me any different. Because just like in Africa or in Haiti or anywhere else, there is a lot of ancient verbal history that's been passed down generations after generations. And none of you all can debunk it and nobody else in the world can, because it's been coming down to you all for thousands of years or hundreds of years. So you're not going to tell me about my Native American heritage that's been passed down to me for eons and eons, along with maybe the amalgamation with the few Africans they brought to America. Because technically, if you really look at it, they couldn't bring all those millions of people over here, man. But that's a whole nother subject. I mean, just give us our propers, give us our dues. Stay on our business. Why can't you all just look? Why does it hurt you all that we are trying to get our town business together here? Why does it hurt you all that we are fighting for something that has been set down on the floors of Congress for the last few decades? What does that have to do with you? And why does it bother you that we are now making a move, and the consensus in politics and on social, in the social media and main media now has a focus on what we're talking about? Y'all mad because we want some of this mass immigration out of here? What if we did it to your country? Imagine now how Haiti is in a real tight position in its economics. If we as Americans just start flooding there, you wouldn't want that shit. Excuse my French, but I'm just saying. What makes you think we want that? What makes you think that we want to be flooded? They asked Trump, what is black jobs? Trump told them straight up, any job that they want to have is a black job. That means, in essence, when you have people here that are taking a certain job, no matter what job it is a job that someone who is native or black of this land that could have. When you oversaturate us with a bunch of immigrants, where there's going to be jobs for the ones that's here. They don't even have any organizations for us now. I was just on Wani and Professor Allen's line just a little while ago, brother. And I was telling about here, if you look into the rent assistance program, there's no money in rent assistance program in most major cities. You know why? Because they didn't give it to all these immigrants. They're telling you that for the last 6 months, you got to wait till the new fiscal year. That don't start till October. There are going to be people getting thrown out because what? There's no money to give to the foundationals or even the poor white people in this country because you didn't give it to all the damn immigrants. So we supposed to want
Black
that?
issue. I understand where you're coming from, but I will say you do know black immigrant groups is a very small percentage. It's a very small group.
What is that?
It's a small group
nowhere
that they
near
push.
all-
Listen, it's a small group that they push in the black community. They don't push it in the white
What I'm
community.
saying is black immigrants catching all the smokes. But
No,
meanwhile,
nobody
black
stop.
immigrants
No,
are
you're
not
not.
the
No,
main
you're
ones
not. No, you're
Is
not.
that
draining.
everybody is being okay. Everybody's being respectful and clearly articulating our issues with receipts. In fact, we're not
Exactly.
talking about our own personal experience. I ran into a Haitian one day and he was rude and I don't like Haitians no more. We're talking about actual things that affect the community at a whole. Okay. And you keep coming instead of actually understanding and sitting back and being all like, actually, you guys make a good point, because if you guys were to do that in Haiti, we would have an issue, as you guys do. We would have an issue if anybody, not just us, but if anybody did that to Haiti, whether that's Dominicans, Jamaicans, anybody even from the Caribbean did that to Haiti, you all would have an issue. And instead of sitting back and having the maturity and character to realize that and say, you know what, you're right. And you know what, we need to stop that. You keep being defensive and you keep trying to find some type of way to, right here, avoid accountability. You keep trying to find a way to avoid accountability. Even if they are a small percentage and you talk about that, that doesn't mean that the issues that we're bringing up isn't significant, because we've been experiencing these issues for a very long time and this stuff is building up. And the thing is that we keep getting more and more and more immigrants. So it's like, okay, well, it's small. So how big, honestly, does it have to be for us to address it? Because every time we address it, somebody tries to belittle it. What does it have to be for us to even bring it up? We can't bring it up because it's small. How much of a percentage do black immigrants need to be for us to address the fact that what they're doing is problematic?
Now, what they want us to be totally stomped out. They want us to be totally non and void. They want us to be the unspoken and the unspoken and the unheard. They're not happy until,
But
and they're
Black
not
Christians,
happy until.
I'm gonna let you land, and then we're gonna get to the other speakers.
Yeah, let me land. They want us to be the unheard and the unspoken. They want us to be not only the second or third. They want us to go down to a fourth class citizenship, like Dr. Claude Anderson said. Because right now we're pretty much third now because the Latinos has outnumbered us now with all this infiltration of illegal immigrants. You all keep centering yourselves, people from Haiti, well, let's say the Caribbean and Africa. You black people keep centering yourselves. It's not all about y'all. Y'all so vain. It's more to y'all. They ain't bringing y'all in here like the numbers they bringing the Latinos in. It's more about them than y'all. And this is why I know that you all are just hating and have a problem with what we're doing because it has something to do with the economics that possibly, and we keep fighting, that will come to us. You all want to be a part of that because other than that, what would you have a problem with what we're fussing about? Because like the brother said, you wouldn't want that to happen in your country, especially with the minuscule means that you have there already. You won't have nothing. You'll be eating, like Tyreek like to say, dirt cookies. So, I mean, don't get mad at us because we're now making a push for something. We're starting to wake up a lot of our brothers and sisters who've been asleep. It is the young, what y'all like to call YNs, who really are starting to take this thing on. And y'all are scared because in the future, when an old man like me gone, there's still going to be a foot in these YT's asses. And this is what we're here to do. We're not going to take our foot off their neck because our whole heritage and our whole generation and our whole culture is fighting.
Yeah.
That's fleet. And I'll land on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Hold on, because
My bad.
I'll let Abdul, Walid Mustafa. I think you've been with us before, right?
I think once before.
Okay, yeah, I think so. And then we'll get to Frankie. So Abdul, you got it. Where you from again? Where you from again? I forgot.
Where am I physically from?
Yeah, where's your lineage from?
Let me see. My lineage is Africa.
Where at in Africa?
I couldn't tell you. I'm
Okay.
African, but I'm African by bloodline, not because I was
Are you
born in
okay?
Africa.
Okay,
Because
let me ask you a
Africa
question. Let me
was
ask
born
you
in
a
there.
question. Okay. Your lineage is Africa. Are you a descendant of U.S. chattel slavery?
Yes.
So your ethnic group, you're ethnically FBA, right?
No.
Why not? Okay, so are you a black American?
I'm African American. If you want to get it to that point.
Okay.
One thing we fought too hard for our dignity and our pride in this nation to go through another name change.
Do you
We
understand that African American is a relatively new term? African American is not that old term. We've been called black longer than we've been called African American. Do you know that, right?
no. If you Paul Robeson referred to us as African, and that was back in 1930s.
Okay, I'm
Uh,
talking about African American. You said African American.
okay, well I'm African now.
So you're an African
Yeah.
and you don't know where you're from in Africa.
No.
Okay. Now I want y'all to understand these are the people who say they know the right way. He's African, don't know where he's from in Africa. What do you have to say about the prompt?
The prompt says the FBA isn't a group or organization. It's a lineage.
Mm-hmm.
And I only say that for years we've had that plantation mentality,
Mm-hmm.
whereas you always have to have another name for who we are. We fought too hard, too long for our dignity and our pride. And it's embarrassing to have Negroes who still have that plantation mentality.
Okay, what is the plantation mentality with specifying your lineage?
Would specify my lineage?
Yeah, was with us specifying our lineage, what is the plantation mentality?
That's that good Negro, the house Negro, and the field Negro
Okay, these are the
mentality.
Pan-Africanists that say they know the way. Okay. Now let me ask you a question. Do we have, as descendants of U.S. chattel slavery, do we have a different lineage from everybody else?
Who do you mean everybody else?
Do we have a different ethnic group from other people in the diaspora?
Other people in the diaspora. Are you talking about other black people?
Yes, other black people from the diaspora.
I would say yes.
Okay. So, because we have a different ethnic group and lineage, do you not agree that our ethnic group and lineage needs to have a name the same way they have a name? Should we not also have a name for our ethnic group and our lineage?
We do have a name.
Okay, hold on. So before we get there, you agree that we should have a name for our ethnic group and lineage. Now, that should be specifically about us, right? It shouldn't be about everybody. It should be about just our ethnic group, right?
I don't know. If we're Africans, we're Africans.
No, hold
It
on.
doesn't matter.
But here's the thing. This guy up here, he said he was Haitian. You know, I'm not a Haitian, so I can't claim to be Haitian. We can't do a thing where our ethnic group, the door is wide open for any and everybody to come in our ethnic group, but the door is closed for everybody else. We can't do that, right?
No,
Okay.
if you're African, you're
But
African.
but the thing, I'm not talking about being black. I'm talking about our
No,
ethnic
I'm
group.
talking about being African.
Okay, but our ethnic, do all Africans have the same ethnic group? Because let
So,
me ask you a question. Because if you're Pan Africanist, you understand that there are 54 countries in Africa, and there are
yes,
thousands of tribes in Africa. Okay,
yes.
nobody in Africa says, "Well, if you're African, you're African," because they delineate and they understand that there is a distinction. So, should we not also understand and respect the fact that African Americans, as you call us, are distinct from everybody else?
But the Africans have the same bloodline. My bloodline comes from Africa.
Okay, these are the Pan-Africanists, y'all.
All
In
right.
Africa, let me ask you a question. In
Yeah.
Africa, are Nigerians and South Africans the same people with the same history and the same culture? Would you say that
I don't know
there's no
their
difference?
culture, so I couldn't answer that.
Okay, well, is there a difference between Nigerians and South Africans?
As far as what?
What the hell? Okay. All right. As far as anything at all.
Since I'm not that familiar with South
This is hilarious.
Africa,
Okay. All right. So all right.
I can
Okay.
answer that
But you're
question.
saying, see, if you literally don't know this much about the difference between Nigerians and South Africans, how are you going to tell us that this is some type of house nigga mentality, which is what you're saying? You don't even know that much about Africa to be sitting up there preaching to us about the direction
Because I
we are
grew up
going.
in this
You're saying
country
that we're
and
falling astray,
I
sir,
was
bro,
raised around
brother,
Negroes.
brother. You said that we are falling astray, okay, and we work too hard, and we're essentially lost. All right, and now I'm asking you very, very easy questions, and you're acting as if you don't know what ethnicity means. And because apparently you don't know what ethnicity means, we're just gonna have to move on.
No, I didn't say I didn't know what it means.
Okay, well, if you know what ethnicity means, because when I caught you with it, you said, well, if you're African, you're African. No,
Yeah.
no, because in Africa, there's still distinctions among different people from Africa.
Do they have different bloods?
Actually, yes, they do.
All
They
right.
actually
And
do.
the blood is still African, right? Because, you know, Africa is a continent.
Okay, what
And
does
it was
that matter?
divided into
Okay,
countries
we're moving on.
with a
We're moving on.
Belgian
Do you
meaning.
see? This is the thing, because now you're saying, do we have the same blood? Blood and ethnicity does not mean the same thing. Your ethnicity is not determined by your blood. And every time we try to specify ethnicity, you keep going back into some type of blood. even
All
though
right,
actually our
let me
blood,
say this. Let
sir,
me say this.
sir, even though our blood is different, our blood is
Let me
different.
say
If you
this.
didn't know that, and in
We
Africa, their blood
we
is
in the
different. If,
FBA do not have the same
listen,
culture.
sir, if you took the blood of 100 people from South Africa, and then you took a blood of 100 people in Sudan, their blood is
Hmm.
not going to be identical.
Okay.
So even in Africa, people have different blood types and lineages and DNAs, okay, and different genes.
Okay.
Everybody in Africa doesn't look the same,
Can I make a point here?
sir.
All right.
We're on to the conversation because you keep saying that this is some type of you're ashamed that we're falling off and everything like that. We're talking about lineage, and you keep talking about bloodlines.
Well,
You're talking about something
let
completely,
me
sir.
address the
You're
lineage
talking
there.
about something completely different
Can
from
I
what we're
address
talking about.
lineage? All right. Lineage has something to do with culture. Am I correct?
Yes,
We do not share the same culture.
that's what I said. Yes.
I mean, FBAs and the African Americans do not share the same
No,
culture.
FBA is what you was referring to as African American. You want us to be referred to as African American, even though a lot of us are realizing that African American is not specific. Let me ask you a question. If somebody from Africa moved to America, are they now African American?
Yeah. If they want to be,
Okay,
yeah.
so if they move to America and now they're African American, then
Hmm.
everybody gets to be African American, right?
Yeah, you got Chinese Americans.
Okay.
Of
So
all the
now do you
immigrants,
see if everybody gets to be African American, shouldn't we use a more distinct term for our lineage so everybody
no.
doesn't get to be a part of the lineage and the
We
ethnicity?
fought too hard. We fought too hard, man, to maintain our dignity and our pride.
Nobody is
Like I was
sacrificed. Okay,
explaining to
we're
you,
done. We're this is because we're
like
not
I
getting
explained to
anywhere.
you,
We're
we
not
don't
getting,
have the
sir.
same
Thank you,
cultures,
sir. Thank
you
you,
and I.
Wait,
sir.
Afro
That's
man.
enough.
Send him
That's
away, man.
enough.
Send him
That
away,
is
man.
enough.
Send him away,
Okay.
man.
Can I talk now?
And I've been trying to be very respectful because I understand he's an elder, but that's enough. Okay, because now we're going into circles, or we're
Too much
really
yak.
going into circles with this. All right, because he understands that there's a difference between our ethnicity, but when we specify, okay, well, we should make sure that we delineate.
That
Now
does
he's
not
saying
take
no.
away from the Negro mentality, that plantation
Nobody is
mentality,
stop,
brother.
The
sir.
only
That's
one
enough.
trapped on the
Sir,
plantation
that
is
is enough. That's enough.
the old guy.
Man,
So, can I ask a question, Afro? Can you hear me clearly?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So, when you brought up China and when they come here, they be Chinese American, right? But Asia is the continent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when we say Asian American, that's because we may not know exactly where the person comes from, or we want to be general about the whole continent of Asia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why is it we don't know where we come from in Africa if you have that history? I don't feel like tussling with nobody today. So we can't call us a specific country over there. I think that is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Like for him to say we're African so adamant, but we're American.
Mm-hmm.
We know we're American. We got 500 years over here, and nobody can really show us our history in Africa. So the Chinese, for the most part, they know they Chinese. They still have their connection. They ain't never lost it. Black Americans have, if you have the lineage. I ain't
Mm-hmm.
arguing about the
We went
slave
through an
trade now.
ethnogenesis, yes.
Right. So I think, I
Can I?
don't know.
And
African American is a little too broad and it doesn't really apply to us. But I'm not going to give the people who migrate here that that term should be taken out
yeah,
of use.
that we should retire that term. That term should be retired.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of good work under that term, and I don't want to disrespect that term, but now it's been abused. So the term should be retired, and it should be up as we move forward. We should update what we refer to ourselves as, and we should make sure that that's more
Right.
distinct. That's not disrespectful. That's not moving backwards. All right, we are different. Even if you want to use the whole blood thing, for instance, if and I'm glad you brought up Japanese people, right? If a Japanese person comes to America, I'm not gonna say, well, you're pretty much the same as a Chinese person. A Japanese person is gonna say, no, I am very different from a Chinese person. Okay, we still might have Asian blood, quote unquote, but I am not Chinese. I'm Japanese. All right. And you can't say that, well, that y'all pretty much all the same, don't y'all have? Because they would find that disrespectful. And everybody else understands that, which is why nobody does that to Japanese or Chinese people, but they do that to us. All right, let's get to.
And
Hold on, I want
I,
to get to Frankie. Frankie hasn't spoken yet.
hey, what up? What up? How y'all doing?
We're good. How you doing?
Um, I'm hanging in there. Listen, I'm Haitian. Okay, I
Okay.
was born in Canada from Haitian parents. I was raised in New York. I was raised in the Dominican Republic, and currently I'm living in Haiti right now.
Okay.
And God blessed me. I learned a lot. I learned different languages. I speak French, English, Spanish, and Creole.
Oh,
And from what I've studied, yeah, and I think that's the main problem we have as far as all of us indigenous people. It's the same thing you're talking about right now, which I respect. Okay, because I had my artist make myself an FBA flag because I'm raising my kids to know all the super teams that we have. All right, I don't
well,
see it as FBA being.
is the mother
Hold on.
FBA?
What I'm saying is, no. Listen. My other son in New York, he in Glen Cove. His mother's FBA.
Okay.
His mother's FBA. I have another son in Glen Cove, New York. But anyways, to get back to the
So
point,
one son is Haitian.
what
And
I
one son is
realized from
okay.
living in Glen Cove, um, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So my point of view is real different. See, when you get to travel and you get to talk to people and you could talk their language, like there was somebody that was saying how Dominicans and Haitians are so different. I lived in the Dominican for 2 years. I've explored the whole island. You know, I have family in Atlanta. My cousin is married to an FBA. My other cousin in New York is married to an FBA. Haitians and Black Americans, we make the best mac and cheese in the world. You know what I'm saying? We make cornbread as well. Now, the thing that I'm gonna get into, when you talk about ethnicity, I understand you 1,000%. It's like how you take, there's different kinds of wolves. You have southern wolves, you have northern wolves, and they're all different. They're still all wolves, but they're all different. You know what I'm saying? They all have each of them have their special gifts and special different genes, but they're all the same as far as the base when you look at them. What I'm saying here is very important, is that through my travels, through the United States, through Canada, through Haiti, and I've explored Haiti. We had a doctor here called Dr. Mathurin, and he brought some old books out. What I'm gonna say is probably gonna bother the Haitians, but I mean, I realized it. Haitians are not from Africa. There's not one word in the Creole language which is African. None of us know nothing. Just like FBA
Are you
say that,
Haitian? Did he say he
we
was
have
Haitian?
a
'Cause I
part
don't
of our
want.
history
Okay.
that's been wiped out. These people did that everywhere. Yeah, I'm
There's
Haitian.
a
I'm
little
Haitian.
lag, but just keep
And
going.
the problem is, it's like, okay, like there was a guy saying that oh yeah, Haitian, yeah, because in Haiti the internet is real bad. But you know how there was one guy saying that, oh yeah, in Haiti there's no money, they're gonna eat mud cookies. Let me tell you, I live here right now. My business and my property is right. This is very important. Right next to the airport, we've been invaded by the U.S. military. The gangs are produced by them. The island of La Navas, which is off the coast of Haiti, was taken by the United States. Right now, all this conversation we're having, I respect the FBA. Just like I'm gonna give you, you got X-Men, you got X Factor, you got X Force. I see us all as a super potential to bring the truth out on who we are. The same way you got FBA is the same way you got Aboriginal Haitians. Just last year, they found documentation that was stolen from Haiti and stored in England, talking about the indigenous army, the indigenous Haitians. And when they read those documents, it seems that the history, or the people that controlled the printers, because the printing is the power, all these $5 books, $10 books, In the real books, the $12,000 books, the $10,000 books, it's a whole different story. So for me, I respect the FBA. I respect what they've done. Just like I respect what Haitians done. You see, it's like Legos. Each piece sticks to each other. Remember when they were carving out Africa? They were chopping Africa. They took a break. The white folks took a break, right? They sat down at the round table. They had the Treaty of Berlin. Even though they were different, even though they were beefing, they were warring, they were killing each other. But they say, hey, let's all sit down at the round table and talk about this. Let's see how we could dominate these people, right? So for me, it's like my advice to the FBA, to the Haitians, to the Jamaicans, to the Black Dominicans, to the Puerto Ricans, to the Black Colombians, to the Black Brazilians, there wasn't enough boats to bring us here. In Haiti, which is a raw country, there's no slave boats nowhere to be seen. There's proof
for
that.
the sake of time, because there's a lot of people who want to speak, and
But I mean, the other guy spoke. The other guy spoke longer than me. All I'm saying is that we are a power to reckon with. They have
Okay,
us
thank you.
arguing.
Hold on, sir. Hold on. Because for the sake of time, we're going to reiterate this again. For the sake of time, please land your plane in 10 seconds because I know where you're going with this. You're trying to talk about some empire or something. You're going to being
No,
indigenous
I'm not
and
talking
all this
about the
other
empire.
stuff.
Don't put words in my mouth.
All right.
Don't put words in my mouth.
All right, that's fine.
I'm not talking about
but,
that.
But you're veering off. Did you even touch on the prompt? Did you touch on the prompt? Sir, we have a whole prompt. And now we're getting a lesson on all the Caribbean. And like, we're really not here for that.
No, I'm just going back to the FBA. I'm just talking about to the FBA. The FBA is an element.
Please land too.
Yeah. But just let me talk, miss. The FBA
no, not just
is
let
an
you talk.
important
Please land in
element
10 seconds. Thank you.
Anyways, fam, I know you understand what I'm saying, bro. I'm not going to talk anymore. But anyways, one love, and the struggle continues. And I wish that everybody gets what they need and that Black people get what they deserve. And that we stop arguing, we sit at the round table and we build. Because white folks, they sit at the round table and they build. There's no other page on TikTok where you hear white folks arguing, a guy from the Netherlands or a guy from England or a guy from Australia talking. I mean, you could look for it. We're the only ones doing that. We're the only ones doing that. There's nobody else doing that.
Trump did
so
it.
for me, for the
Here's
way
the
I
thing:
was
when they argue, which they do a lot.
Yeah, but that's something else.
They do, and they do. But when they argue, they try to frame it as liberals versus conservatives, and they do it all of the time. They don't go after.
Yeah, but it's not ethnicities. It's not that. It's not African American.
And they argue.
They don't use those terms.
But the thing is that when people frame it as if Black
that's in America. That's in America, fam. They only do that in America.
In other countries, they throw bombs. Like, look at Russia and Ukraine right now. So let's not. When people try to make it to where Black people are the only people who don't get along, that's not true.
But do you know the reason? Do you know the reason? Do you know the reason why? Do you know the reason why Ukraine? Yeah, but do you know the reason why Russia is attacking Ukraine? Did you ever see their flag? Did you ever see the logo on their flag? You know where that logo?
Why Ukraine and Russia are in it right now is beside the point.
What's up with barbecue? To hell with the Ukraine.
This is what they do. They here to derail the conversation.
So yeah, we're gonna.
That's what tethers do. The main thing is this. Moving forward.
No, I'm not.
Hold on.
I'm showing love to the FBA. They showed love to me. I ain't derailing nothing. Don't put words in my mouth.
Hold on.
I ain't derailing nothing.
Let's say one thing.
Don't derail it. Just listen to what I said. I didn't put the FBA down.
Frankie, stop. Everybody stop. Everybody can speak.
No, but it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Frankie. Listen, Frankie. I'm as the host. I was trying to hear you out. I was trying to listen to you. Okay. You went into talking about Haitians being indigenous and indigenous history. There's no ties and stuff like that, which was veering really from the beginning. That's veering off the subject matter at hand. But I let you go. I let you go and everything like that. And then it kind of went to European history and how it kind of went into different directions, which is what I was picking up. which is what a lot of people in the audience were picking up, and we
No, I
kind of
just think we need to sit
tried
at the
to
round
see
table. I think
if it
we
was
need to
going to
sit at the
circle
round
back, and it
table
never really
because
circled
we
back
have
the
the
way.
same enemies. We have
Okay,
the same
okay,
enemies.
but right now,
We have the
oh,
same enemies.
Frankie, thank you,
Yeah,
Frankie.
we have the same
Yeah, we
enemies.
do, Frankie. I agree. Thank you, Frankie. And I agree.
Thank you as well. Thank you as well. One love. One
All
love.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah. Wu Tang.
Do you see what I'm saying? These people want us to be like terrorists in our own country. What are they talking about? They're crazy. They are crazy. We have been fighting these people on our own soil, and you mean to tell me that we come Pan-Africans and they get mad because we don't want to be with them. At the same time, they got plans of mass destruction all throughout America. Have you seen Milwaukee? Have you seen Milwaukee? Come on.
All right. Let's get now.
I'm about to drop.
There's a couple of
but
people.
I wanted to thank you for having me on a platform.
Okay.
I have to say, your platform is very respectful compared to some of the other ones.
Thank you.
But I totally disagree with Frankie. We are from African as Haitians, but this life is not about that. So I just end on that note. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's you see, I didn't interrupt or interject. That's a Haitian discussion. If Haitians want to have that conversation among them being from Africa or indigenous, that's not my place. I'm not Haitian. That's a Haitian discussion right there. You know, but it's just not a part of what we're talking about right now. All right. That's not my stay in my lane. Now let's get you what's Griff? What's this? Griffith.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. Yeah, thanks for inviting me. So, yeah, I'm African, but I just did not get the why Black American are not considered African because um, you guys are, of course, you guys are not the same. You guys are a collection of different tribes. When you guys are brought up from Africa, it's not
Okay.
like it's not like you guys are picked up from one place. It
Okay.
was like you guys were picked up from different tribes, different ethnicities,
Mm-hmm.
and then you guys came to here as an slave, right?
Fix it with a carnation.
Okay, hold on. So here's the thing. Let me ask you a question. If you're gonna say that we were picked up, and I'm talking about you, right? If you're gonna say we were picked up from different tribes and different ethnicities, and we were all shipped to a new land, and then we mixed in with the people from that land, how are we the same? We're a very different people if that's the case. With that logic,
Regardless, you're
what
still
you
African.
just said, with that logic, we would be very different people, right?
I mean, like you guys are mixing with so many different ethnicities for a long time,
Uh-huh.
and then you guys maybe look different now, but I'm pretty sure 60% of your DNA is still Africans.
See, we gotta get this conversation
Okay.
stopped.
Okay, hold
Stop
on.
the conversation.
Okay. The thing is that all of them, y'all only argument is some DNA test that has not really been done. Y'all only that is y'all literal only argument. We're bringing up receipts, we're bringing up historical facts, we're bringing up all of these things, and all y'all can say is, well, I'm sure if we did a DNA test, well, I'm sure if you did a DNA test to everybody in Japan, a lot of them would have some type of Chinese DNA, but they do not identify as Chinese, and you cannot get them to say that they're Chinese. You would never be able to do that. All right? They are going to say, because they've been out, the people who are in China or Japan right now, they've been away from China for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Even if there's still DNA remnants of China in them, okay, they would still be a different set of people, okay? So we are a very different set of people. Our DNA is not even the same, okay? But with that being said, hold on. With that being said, we are ethnically different, just like in Africa. You wouldn't be all like, well, all Africans
Because you
have
guys are a combination of
African
different
DNA.
ethnicities to begin
Let
with.
me ask you a question.
You guys are from different ethnicities.
Let me ask you a question. Are we, as Black American, foundational Black Americans, are we our own ethnicity? Yes or no?
I think you guys are one race, but if you go down to ethnicities and tribe, you guys are a combination of multiple tribes and ethnicities.
Okay.
But yeah,
So are
even from
we,
Africa, even
no,
from
no, no, no,
Africa,
no, no, no. We're not really, listen, is our lineage different from different people's lineage? Do we have our own lineage?
yeah, that is Africans.
Okay. No, our lineage is not Africans.
It
Because
is. It
Africans
is.
have a different lineage. In Africa, sir, Africans have a different lineage. The Nigerian lineage is different from the Sudanese lineage, and that's different from the Ethiopian lineage, and that's different from the Moroccan lineage, and that's different. They have different lineages and tribes and histories in Africa. So how do we not have a different lineage outside of Africa?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you do have a different lineage because you guys be mixing with non-black.
We
Yeah,
have a different lineage because we had an ethnogenesis.
even
Let's do a
even
history
when
lesson. Let's
you're
do a
from
history lesson.
Africa,
Let's do a history
can you let
lesson,
me
sir.
finish?
Sir. We have a different lineage because we had an ethnogenesis, and we built a different nation on a completely different continent. So we're of a different people.
So
Okay,
you're not saying so you don't trace from Africa, like you don't have any any
what
trace.
does it matter if we did? What does that matter? What does it matter if we did?
Okay, yeah. What that matters is like so don't think Africans are taking over. Like most of you guys are making it seems like we're a small portion. Literally,
So if we have okay, tie the fact that we have some DNA from Africa to you guys not taking over.
not some DNA. Like 70% to 60% of
Let's
you
say
guys are
okay, for the
African.
sake of the argument, let's say we had 90%. What does that mean? What would that matter?
Okay, just like Europeans, they are from different ethnicities. But
Okay.
when they come here, all you all call them white people, right? It's all together, right?
Okay.
So
But they don't.
they no longer have the same language. They no longer speak this different language. But now they have just like one common race that makes them one nation, right?
No, not when they come here. They identify as white wherever they are. Okay, because they understand race, but still ethnically they're different. That's why you still got St. Patrick's Day and different European ethnic holidays in this country. So, because they still understand their ethnicity.
Okay, yeah, they just celebrate that as symbolic, but it's not like yeah, because it's a different because the white came here voluntarily, where you guys came here forcibly. So that also makes different. You guys were
No,
never
not
taught.
really. We're still a different ethnicity.
Yeah, but you guys are listen. Let me speak. You guys are a combination of different ethnicity from Africa. Listen, if you looked at, you guys are mostly from West Africa, right? From Nigeria, from Senegal, Ghana, and Benin,
Okay.
and so many places, right? So
Okay.
yes, you guys are a combination of different tribes and ethnicities. But when you guys got here, you guys stick together because you guys are, bound by blood. That is like you guys are black. You guys are Africans.
But what killed me is y'all can't even really say where y'all from.
I want him to. I want you to try to make a point because you have not made a point so far.
Okay.
You sound very confused, actually.
Okay, all right. Okay, so you're saying you're not African, you're not black.
Nobody's saying we're not black.
Okay.
You guys are the only people who keep trying to tie black and make black synonymous with Africa. There were black people outside of Africa for a very long time. If y'all don't know world history,
Okay, have
a
you
lot of
ever
you guys
done, have
don't
you
know
ever
history
done your
that well.
DNA? Have you ever
Because
done your
any
DNA?
immigrant gets
Okay.
offended because we take ownership of being American. That offends them. It hurts them.
Okay, let's
I'm
That's
not
what. That's
offended.
what
You guys are being
only.
let's let him
offended.
No
go.
white person is mad if you say you're FBA.
Okay.
Only immigrants.
Okay, I'm not offended you guys being, American. Of course you guys are. I've never doubted that. But I'm saying that, but what I'm saying that is, regardless whether you like it or not, but you are originally from African, from
What does that
Africa.
have to do with right now? What we're doing right now? What does that have to do with? Even if that was true, what does that have to do with right now?
But you're saying you guys are not from there, so you guys are your own ethnicity.
Yes, we're saying we're from a completely
Or
different continent. Yes,
where? From where?
America,
Okay,
North
so
America, the continent of North America.
okay, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but nobody will believe that. But it's up to you. But
Okay, well, if you don't want to, yo, okay then. I listen, and these are the people who will come up here and say that we don't make a point, we not making sense. These people will swear up and down that we don't make a point, we're not making sense, and we don't know our own history. And he failed to make a single point the entire time. But
And
we're
this
gonna
is
have to move on and let some other people, because there's a lot of people in the queue, a lot of people want to speak. So let's get to Mrs. LC.
Hello, how are you? Thank
How
you
you
for
doing?
having me on the panel. You know what's so funny? What's so funny to me is the fact that we were never claimed to be anything previously. Previously, we were always on our own. We were Black American. We were this. I feel like now the universe is opening up ourselves, opening up for us to be able to find out who we are. I remember stories. My grandmother never could tell me anything about anybody from Africa. Okay. It's been like, what, over 500 years, if that was so. When I took a DNA test, I was like maybe 30% African. The rest of it was indigenous, it was European. So, how can you sit here and tell us that we belong to Africa when we don't have any traces, like maybe hundreds of years ago from Africa? I remember, and some people, I've been in some groups where some people like laughing, oh, yeah. Oh, they think they're Indian now. Or their grandparents told them the story that they're Indian now. I know exactly where my grandmother's DNA come from. It was Miccosukee Indian. I'm from Florida. Miccosukee Indian in the Miccosukee swamps. That's where we came from.
Hmm.
So the 30% African, why do you feel like it's so important to stress that? Okay, oh, we're African. We didn't come by choice. We came by force. We created our own culture. All of us
Wait, give
are
me one
not.
second. Give me 1 second. Let me just make this announcement. There's a lot of people coming up, so I'm gonna have to cycle the panel through. So if I drop you, don't feel like no type of way. All right. But
Okay.
keep going. Keep going.
I just wanted to say, like, I just think it's like, you guys say that you want to have unification, like you want to have, communication as to how we get here. I think the thing is that all groups, Haitian, African, whatever, you come here and you try to assume an identity and you try to assume something that don't belong to you. And I just think it's not cool. It's definitely unfair. I just realized I was FBA like 3 days ago.
Mm.
Like I honestly did. And it sucks. You would like to see this black unity, but this black unity it's not gonna occur because the white man has put already in your mind when you came to the United States that we were lower than. We were nothing. We had no culture. We were the lost people. We were the, this is what they planted it, but you allowed it to grow. You allowed it to grow. You let this thing take root. You came here and you felt like we were all welfare queens. We took advantage of the system. You had to come and you wanted to imitate, but you could never duplicate. We created our own culture and we're claiming our own selves, and everybody gonna have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have a problem with that, but that's their problem. It's our responsibility to rename ourselves, to do whatever we have to do to realize that we are Americans. And this is what we built, and everybody else came along. They leached, they took advantage of it, and then they all called us scum, and it's just not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's a good point. You know, everybody, we've been exploited for way too long. And now
Yes.
we're realizing, because we were thinking we were quote unquote doing the right thing. That's
Yes.
the reason why we got to this level, because we believed that what we were doing was the right thing. And now we actually we evaluated everything, and we started kind of like learning about ourselves, our history,
Yes.
our relationship with everybody else, and now we realize like, hey, actually we've been heading in the wrong direction.
In
And
the
now
wrong
now that
direction.
we're heading in the right direction, people are gaslighting us and
And they
saying
have
that
a
this is some
problem
type
with
of
it.
self-hate, or like that one
And they
guy
have a
said,
problem with it. And you're right. They want to
plantation.
act like we hate ourselves. Why
Hmm.
can't you admit that you're from Africa? You know, they're doing all this. And the strange thing is that I'm a Black American. I'm married to a Haitian. I'm looking at a guy, I'm like, okay, we're the same color, I think, we're good. Then it's only like when we got married that I found out that the culture was so different. They had already been ingrained in their minds that we were losers, we were welfare queens, we didn't have anything, we didn't do. It's like, don't tell me that you didn't come here with the preconception that Americans, Black Americans, were garbage.
Hmm. And
You did that.
like I said, it's so disappointing when that comes from the Caribbean. Like,
Yes.
for instance, even though they shouldn't, the Africans should know better. But when it comes from Africa, I don't want to give it a pass, but I can understand it a little more. But like when it comes from the Caribbean, I'm all like, out of all people, how are y'all off that how are y'all not getting that? How are
How y'all
y'all
not
getting,
getting it?
because do you know the whole concept of zombies came from Haitians? When the white supremacists were saying Haitians eat people and they're zombies, I don't know if I can
Yes.
say that. That comes the stigma of, you look up the history, the origin of where the concept of zombies came from. They came from the dominant society calling Haitians cannibals. All right. So
Yes.
they should understand the stigma of media and all of that stuff. So it just really blows my mind how they come over here with the same preconceived notions that we're beneath them or ghetto or whatever the case is, when
Yes.
we've been sitting up there looking like, hey, they do the same thing to y'all. How do y'all not get this?
Right. Right. And it's just like so mind boggling. And the thing with the Africa, I'm just kind of like, listen, I'm not, social media savvy. I'm just kind of like, getting into it. And it's like, I have had some encounters. Okay. I have a group home. I have a couple of group homes.
Hmm.
I take one of my clients to see this doctor. This doctor is African. She's like giving me attitude. She's like, where is he from? Da, da, da. He's from my facility. I am the administrator. This is my facility. He's in my facility. Then all of a sudden she's like, oh, you carry yourself so well. You do your stuff, da 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 da. But before that, you realize that I owned this facility. This was mine. You treated me like I was garbage. Once you felt like, okay, oh, she was one of the different blacks, then you started treating me with respect. So you feel like we feel some type of way. We don't. Like we are so open to everybody. Like we really are. We good people. Like we good like that. But when you come over and you show us attitude in our own country and you don't respect our ancestors and the plight that they went to, that's a problem for me.
Yep.
It's a problem for me.
Yep.
You can't say to me, oh, come back to Africa. Come back to what? Because before we were never even accepted in Africa. You called us the slaves, the babies of the slaves.
Yeah, and you make a good point. I'm gonna let you land after I say this, but all of that coming back to Africa and the return to Africa and all of that stuff, all of these things are new.
It's new.
They are not known for doing that. All of
Never.
the return to Africa, and we want you guys to come back and become
Never.
citizens. All of this stuff, and that stuff is still kind of, it's got a lot of red tape to it and all of that stuff. So there's like a agenda behind that.
Of
But even if we want to
course.
give them that, all of that's new. Africa ain't been on that page ever.
Ever. Ever. ever. So now all of a sudden, oh, you're welcome. Come to Africa. This is where you're from. When? When were we ever from there? When will we ever accept it? Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. What's going to happen when they get rid of the immigrants and you're there all alone? You know what's going to happen? The same thing that happened when we were here with them alone before.
Yeah. Let me but thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Appreciate you, sister. Thank you. Let's get to I am gonna have to, because there's a lot of people want to come up. We got hundreds of people in the room right now. So don't feel anybody don't feel no type of way. Let's get to Bookish Brown.
Good evening. Hi, BX.
Hi, Bookish.
Listen, what this prompt saying is very true. It's it's calling us a group is avoiding accountability. It's avoiding accountability for all the sneak dissing, the outright disrespect. Because I have seen a lot of them um, fling virtual at us saying, "Oh, I'm not talking about African Americans. I'm just talking about FBA." They
Mm-hmm.
use it as a scapegoat and an excuse to degrade us and demean us. It's just an excuse. Um, but also, the reason why they're upset about it is, first of all, let me just say, me sitting here between that Pan-Africanist, the weirdo African, that was some weird. Both of them, both sets of these people are some freaking weirdos. Okay, you got the old man Pan-Africanist that is so ashamed of himself and so ashamed of our history here that he never decided to pick up a book and go past slavery because he's so ashamed of it. So he wants to escape the La La Land Africa that he claims he knew nothing about. That was just weird. You asked him pertinent questions and he couldn't even answer them. But he African, but he don't know nothing about Africa. That's weird. And then you had the little African up here. No matter what, you're African. That's some weird stuff. Like, we should be able to press charges against these people because they are obsessed and weird with us. It doesn't make any sense. And I came up here specifically because I heard something new today. Guess what they're trying to do now, Afro?
What? What's up?
They said that Caribbeans were a part of the Great Migration.
What? Okay.
I had to tell you. I had to tell you. I was on another app, Threads, not Instagram Threads. Y'all got to get on Threads too, because they be over there cutting up, trying to pass misinformation over there so badly.
Is popping like that on Threads?
Yes, please get over there.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
over there windmilling in the wind, man, trying to get some order over there. But it's worse than Twitter at this point now. I didn't think it was so peaceful for a while. And you guys know I'm like primary in my books. I just, I'll be talking about my books, but I'll be in the comments talking shit. But those people are and this lady was an academic. And that's why I really wanted to bring it to your attention. These people are talking about teaching that to their college level classes.
Mm.
And that's why Foundational Black American is messing with them. Because they have a plan to graft themselves into our history. You thought that the Mexicans and the Latinos were trying to graft themselves into our community by saying Juan Crow and all of that made up BS. Let me tell you what happened. All of these people have looked around and they are in America now and they realize they have no impact besides reaching off of us. They realize they have had no impact on history except hanging on to our coattails and what we have done and all of the heavy lifting that we have done. And they looked around and they like, oh, we don't have any history to talk about. We haven't done anything. Our elders haven't done anything. Our ancestors haven't done anything because they're narcissistic and they feel like that they can integrate to our and to our country immigrate to our country and center themselves. They think they can literally graft themselves into our history since they don't have any. So now they are determined to change all of these things. So we got white supremacists trying to erase us out of books, and we have black immigrants trying to erase us out of our history and our books.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Everyone's trying to erase us because they have all looked around, including white supremacists, and they know they have nothing to show for themselves. So we have to really, really, really not allow these people to gaslight us and have any say into what we say and what we do. We have the autonomy to call ourselves anything. We can change our names tomorrow, and none of y'all have nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs to go to their corners, mind their damn business, and leave us the fuck alone. And that's all I have to say about it. I am so sick of these people because that pissed me off with the history. Because these people are that's the thing is, and I'm a land. That's the thing. These people are in positions. They have ingratiated themselves into our systems and our schools and in our positions that they can write a lesson plan that writes Caribbeans into the Great Migration.
Yeah, that's a problem. That is a big problem, which is why delineation is so damn necessary. Thank you for that. I didn't even know that. I'm gonna have to check out that Threads app. They over there cutting up. I'm gonna have to get some straightening over there. Thank you. Cycle some people out. Let's get to
Yeah, I was on there, and guess what? I don't go there no more.
oh,
They work
I
their
need my
nerves,
peace.
Jack.
but before I say, let me just say
Huh? Yeah,
this.
they work my nerves bookish.
The other day, it was Jamaican Independence Day. Okay, it was the 63rd anniversary of when Jamaicans got their independence from the British, right? Okay. You know what I saw online, especially on Twitter? I saw a lot of Jamaicans with the shirt that said, Jamaica. I saw them with their flags. I saw them have little events and different stuff like that. You know what I did not see? I didn't see any FBA try to come in there and claim anything. Just notice the difference. Notice when it comes to the Jamaican Independence Day, we all like, okay, well, that's about Jamaica. So let's let Jamaica have it. Cool. I don't see them we didn't try to Pan-Africanize the Jamaican Independence Day. We didn't try to say like, well, no, Jamaicans, because you're technically Africans. So it's about we didn't do that. Notice we didn't do that. We didn't be all like, well, hold on, I have many vacations in Jamaica, so we all Jamaican if you really think about it. And I used to listen to Bob Marley. We didn't think about it. We don't desperately try to claim anybody else's stuff. Okay? What is only when it comes to us, it's all like, hold on, the Great Migration, can I get some of that too? Hold on, Juneteenth, let me get some of that. Let me get some of your stuff. Like, why is it our stuff exclusively that everybody keeps trying to get our stuff? Everybody else's stuff, we leave them alone and we let them have their own stuff, whether that's Haitian Flag Day, Jamaican Independence Day, what is Puerto Rican Flag Day? We don't try to make it about us. Like, these people are so insecure about their culture and their ethnicity that they keep trying to desperately grasp for straws and try to crowbar their way into our lineage. It's very sad, but we got to stop that. We got to stop that. Let's get to Renee.
Hi there. Hi, Miss BX. This is Miss Big Red. I'm good. How come I can't hear you?
Her mic is messed up, she said.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I just wanted to speak to the prompt about, calling us a group or I've heard all kinds of things. I'm at the point, and I consider myself a pretty patient person, but I'm just sick of these people because the outlandish things that they've said. They're calling us CIA ops, and we're the confused ones. But what I see is us trying to get to the bottom of all the lies and trying to reconcile our history so that we know I think most of us have always known, but just trying to kind of center ourselves and make sure we got our stuff together. And it's so sad because it's like with the delineation, it's like these people are now losing their minds. I think because before they felt so free to just participate in our culture and claim our culture. And now that they see that that's going to stop, then they're literally losing their minds. And as far as them calling us Africans and just not letting off of that when like you were saying, Jamaica doesn't get that kind of pressure, neither do the Haitians. It's just us for some reason. But I was thinking like, I said I was just going to give up trying to explain to them anything, but I came up with, I was thinking like, how could I explain it? If you and you're talking about almost 500 years of this now, so we know that as foundational Black Americans, we have African, we have some African DNA, just like everybody else does. We also have some European DNA through no choice or fault of our own, and also some Native American DNA. So I was thinking, if you took a apple and you crossed it with an orange, and then you crossed that with a banana, would you still call it an apple?
That's a really good way of putting that.
I mean, it's like these people are either they're just refusing to understand it, or they can't. And I'm like, okay, how can I make it simple for them? If you can't call that fruit that you just created an apple, then why would and I'm just saying it in the simplest terms, but why would you look at us and say, well, you can only be one thing, although you're not just one thing. And add to that, like I said, it's been almost 500 years, and plus we've created our own. Our culture is our own, and we have basically no ties, I would say, to Africa. We can't go to Africa right now. If they told us we all had to leave the United States as foundational Black Americans, like where would we go? Where would we go in Africa? Just some country that would accept us?
Hmm.
I mean, it makes no sense. And my thing is, to anybody listening or who's ever been confused about this, just stop and think about what you're saying. Like nobody's saying that we're putting down Africa, or we don't want to claim any part of who we are and things like that. It's not that. We know who we are. The problem is you guys don't. So I'll land with that.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Let me that yeah, I like that analogy. I like that analogy. That's a really good analogy. That's a really good analogy. Okay? And nobody, and like you said, nobody makes that argument with anybody else. Nobody, there's not this constant pressure to make sure people don't claim their nationality with anybody else but us. It's only us that get this pressure. That's a good way of that's a good way of putting that. Let's get to now Jaducci. Jaducci, you there?
Yeah. I have a question. Do you guys think that you're just like floating?
I can't really hear you. Broke up a little bit. What was your question?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Do
Can you
you
hear
guys
us?
think that you're? Yeah.
Okay, might be a
Do
little
you guys
delay.
like believe? Do you guys believe that like you're straight up American?
When you say you guys, who are you referring to? You referring to me? Are you referring to
Well,
who?
like you and the people in the panel.
Us and the people in the panel? Well, I don't know everybody on the panel. I know a couple of
Asking you,
people.
Americans.
I
I'm
know
sorry.
Halo. I know BX. You know, but if you're asking us, are we straight up American? I would say hell yeah. We are the truest Americans. Actually, we're the people who created America. So yeah, America. I mean, so yeah. hmm
Okay.
there ain't no more straight up American than foundational Black American. To be very honest with you.
Okay, have you like seen the Nigerian statue of when the Europeans came to West Africa and they took them, and on the way to America, the Nigerians jumped in the water. Sorry, that's my dog. The Nigerians jumped in the water on the chains and they all drowned so they didn't have to be slaves. And there's a statue of that too.
Yeah, I know about that history. Are you from Nigeria?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know about that history. You know, um, how was that?
So this, I feel like this kind of just proves my point as to how you guys are connected to Africa.
Okay. Well, are you going to also make the argument about how Asians are connected to Africa and then how Europeans are also connected to Africa? Because if we discuss world history, then we can argue that everybody has some type of connection. Everybody's family and lineage or ethnicity has some type of connection. If you believe in which is probably the common belief of that, out of Africa theory that society developed in Africa or people came from Africa, which is the most generally agreed on consensus. If you make that argument and people can trace their lineage, there's a lot of Asians that can trace their lineage back to Africa. There's a lot of Europeans who can trace their lineage back to Africa. Okay. So technically everybody is African if we're going to use that logic, but we built America. Are you going to say that's not true? Did we not build America?
Yeah, you guys built America with all you guys built, but I don't think. Well, here's the thing.
What prevents us from being American?
What about the Native Americans? Where did they live?
The Native Americans didn't build America, and there is a lot of us there was a lot of natives that lived on this landmass before it became America, but also there were a lot of what you would say Native Americans that were also enslaved by Europeans. Okay, this is European and world history. They were enslaved by Europeans as and forced to build America. So this is why a lot of us are saying that yeah, there were black indigenous people here. There were also black indigenous people in those tribes as well too. So what
Okay.
we're saying is our lineage of people built this country.
Yeah, but okay. But the thing about you saying how Asians are related to us, we have two different type of melanin.
No, you said Africa. You said they can trace their lineage back to Africa. I said with that logic, there's a lot of other people that y'all don't want to claim as African or black who can also trace their lineage back to Africa.
But we have two different type of melanin.
Okay, what does that have to do? The two different type of melanin, what does that have to do with anything though?
Okay, but what was the other question? Oh, yeah. So even though you guys might have built America and made it how it is today, I still that doesn't really mean that it's yours.
Who does America belong to then?
Native Americans.
What did Native Americans do to earn America? How was this their land? Because
They're-
Native Americans didn't build this country. Let me just say this. Native Americans didn't build this country. Native Americans fought a war against this country, and Native Americans have their own enclaves outside of America.
I believe that they're the natives of America.
Okay, so they're the natives of quote unquote, a lot of them are of this land. Do you not know that a lot of Native Americans were Negroid, right? They were considered black, what we would consider black, right? And science have already verified this. There were a lot of Negroid Native Americans that if you went in the past and look at them, they would be considered black.
Black. Well, but do you agree?
Can we
Huh?
agree on that? Can we get a middle ground on that? Can you agree, or do you agree that there are, because there were several different tribes. A lot of people, when they talk about Native Americans, you have to talk about them as far as North America and South America. And there were several different societies and civilizations of people who were indigenous prior to Christopher Columbus in 1492. And there were a lot of what we would consider to be black people who were on this land in the Americas before Christopher Columbus. And this has already been scientifically verified. We have forensic science now that we didn't have before that has verified this information.
So are you saying that the natives are black?
A lot of them, most of them, yeah. And the reason why a lot of people are saying, hold on, because the reason why a lot of people are not framing it this way is because Native Americans, there are several Native American tribes. Listen, because this is history. If y'all don't, y'all can look it up and fact check me and prove me wrong. There is a lot of Native American tribes that assimilated into the European culture and European powers, which is why the Europeans gave them the 5 civilized tribes. So a lot of them changed their religion to Christianity. They learned to speak English. They learned to adopt and pretty much become white adjacent Native Americans. And then they started allowing Europeans to come into their tribes and marry into their tribes. This is all Native American history, right? And then later on, there was a thing where specific land grants and set-asides came out, and you had to qualify under what was called the Dawes Rolls, and under which was formed by a white man. The Dawes Rolls, they cherry-picked people and allowed them to be considered Native American. So if you were of a kind of lighter complected, quote unquote native, they would allow you to come in. But if you were Negroid native, they would put a hyphen next to native, as if you were less native than a pale skin native. All right. And then after the Dawes Rolls ended, what they did is they purged all of the Negro natives out of the Native American tribes, which is why you have a lot of people today in 2025 who are suing the Native American tribes for re-entry back into those tribes. Also, with the Dawes Rolls, what they've done is a lot of Europeans were able to get into Native American tribes because they would pay $5 to the people operating the Dawes Rolls so they can be classified as Native Americans, so they can get a lot of the government grants and benefits and set-asides after the treaties were signed. So they can benefit from the treaties. So you had a lot of Europeans signing on, paying $5 so they can become a Native American, which is where the term $5 Indian came from, because a lot of these people today are really descendants of Europeans who just paid $5 to be a part of the tribe. And after that, they used blood quantums in the late 1970s, even though DNA tests didn't come out to the 1980s, and say, well, if you don't have a certain amount of quote unquote indigenous DNA, we're going to purge you from the tribe, which they use not to get rid of the Europeans, but they use to get rid of all of the black indigenous people from the tribe, which is why you have different tribes like the Creek and the Seminole, or people who are trying to, or Cherokee, who are also trying to sue black people, who are trying to, who are successfully, not just trying to, but successfully suing to get re-entry into those tribes. And if you guys don't believe me, you guys can actually go look up the lawsuits because they're actually on the news.
Oh,
And
okay.
I went for too long of a rant to be making that up. That is it is too much receipts and facts and history and dates. I'm giving you dates, places, times, names, all of that to be making that
Okay,
stuff
that
up.
may be true. That may be wait. That may be true, but like, doesn't it make sense that like this is their land because Native Americans and Mexicans are literally like related to each other?
Wait, is that
One
wait?
moment, ma'am, aren't you Nigerian?
You just said
Yeah.
Afro
Like,
Jamaican
why is it your business?
and not the other.
The prompt.
Because you
Please
guys
go to the prompt. Do you think
We
FBA is a group or organization? Because
go
Afro,
back to the
it's like
point.
I'm tired of the immigrants, right? She's worried about the Native Americans because her, or not her, but we call Africans with the biggest troll over there, very racist. So they have some type of allegiance to come
What?
after FBA.
What are you talking
Go
about?
towards the prompt, ma'am. We don't
Yeah,
care
let
what
me
you think
answer
or
the
who
answer the
friend it
prompt.
is.
You asked some questions. Now we're gonna
Damn.
ask you answer the. What do you think about the prompt right here? Because I just went through a whole historical. I could have damn near did a class. Went through a whole historical breakdown of our lineage for you to say, well, I still don't understand. But okay, so we're gonna move on past that then. Okay, so let's get to the prompt.
Um, I I do think you guys are a group because I've seen a lot of people that claim they aren't you guys, even though they claim that they're like Black Amer. They just claim that you aren't you guys, but they also claim that they're not African. I don't think that it's a lineage. I think that you guys are from Africa, so
What's our African lineage?
probably most of you guys are West African, but you can be all
West
around.
Africa is not a country. What's our African lineage? West Africa is not a lineage. Even if we go with that, what is our West African lineage?
You would have to trace it down.
No, there's no tracing it down. And let me tell you why. Because when you said we left, and when they talked about the slave trade and the ships and stuff like that, leaving in the slave trade beginning in 1619, I'm literally giving you guys dates, places, and times. I'm giving you all the receipts as I'm going. The landmass was not referred to as Africa until decades and decades later, after we quote unquote left that land. These countries were developed. Most of these countries were developed uh almost a century or so after we quote unquote left it. So when people talk about our lineage and then people say some vague place in West Africa, which is a collective of several different nations, several different tribes, several different cultures over the span of 500 years ago. So we can't claim an American lineage, even though we built it. We have to go back 500 years in the past and claim quote unquote West Africa, which is not a nation or a tribe, is what you're saying.
Wait, what was the question?
Okay, let me ask you this before we move on.
Yeah.
Um, Jamaicans, right?
Hmm.
Jamaicans, should Jamaicans not claim to be Jamaican?
Well, they're mainly from West Africa.
Should Jamaicans, can I ask you a question? Can Jamaicans not claim, second time, to be Jamaican? If I was to ask somebody where you're from, if they said Jamaican, do I have the right to tell her or him that they're wrong?
Well, technically, yeah, if you know the history.
So they're not from Jamaica.
They may be living in Jamaica, but they're actually from West Africa.
No, they're not. They're from the land that they built, man.
I
Hold
mean,
on, hold on. Let me, because there's almost 400 people in here. Let me let y'all know something.
right.
Because a lot of people, the education system is terrible. Do you know what an ethnogenesis is, ma'am? Yes or no?
A what?
I didn't hear you.
Ethnogenesis.
I'm not really familiar in that, but
Okay,
can you
well
say?
let me this is an educational moment, okay? There are people around, and this is human history. I'm talking about world history and human history. People have moved around the world and developed new languages, new lands, new culture, new customs, all over the place. When people go to another place and they inhabit a new land and a new culture, they become of that new thing. This is how ethnicities are built. Otherwise, everyone in the world would literally have the same ethnicity, but there are thousands of ethnicities. So clearly everybody doesn't. So ethnogenesis has existed literally since mankind has been on this planet, where people have moved to different places and developed different customs, lands, and cultures and nations. All right. If we go to another place and develop another nation, culture, and custom, that is an ethnogenesis. That means we are from where we developed. We are not from where we were before. Okay. Jamaicans are from Jamaica because they developed Jamaica. I mean, just like Haitians are from Haiti. They're not from, nobody uses the standard of, no, you got to go back 500 years ago. No, you guys are using this flawed logic because you guys want to make us some generic, and you can't even specify where we would really be from. You're trying to make us some generic Africans when that goes against world history. Okay, since the dawn of man, people have traveled the world and they've developed different ethnicities. Okay, and that's the same with us. You're not gonna change the rules when we get in the room.
Wait, but it's literally proven that Haitians were from Congo and Senegal. That's where they were taken from.
Haitians developed Haiti, yes or no?
Okay, but they were also
Who
developed in
developed Haiti? Who developed Haiti, ma'am? Stop doing that. Who developed Haiti?
Haitians. The people who were there.
Okay. So there was a point in time when Haiti didn't exist, and then there was a point in time when Haiti did exist, yes or no?
Haiti did exist. It didn't just pop up one day.
Yeah, thank you. So someone built it, someone developed it, right? There were a group of people who built the country, right? That's how countries are built, right? Do y'all see the argument? I'm doing this for the audience. Do y'all see how much they're bending over backwards and stretching and reaching for us not to claim this land? No, Haitians are from Haiti. They built Haiti. There's nothing wrong with that. Nobody says, now you're Nigerian. There's a lot of Nigerians who cannot trace their ancestry back 500 years ago. There's a lot of y'all who can't do that. A lot of you guys cannot go back 500 something years. Stop, because I know Nigerians. Okay, there's a lot of them who live in the Chicagoland area. A lot of you all cannot trace your ancestry back 500 years in the past. A lot of people in Africa cannot do that. But nobody says, well, you're not really Nigerian unless you can trace your ancestry back 500 years in the past and it still be on this land. No. We recognize and respect the fact that you guys are Nigerian because that's the nation you're from now. Nobody goes back 500 years in the past, and you're not going to make us do that. And you're not even going to do that to the Caribbean either, because that would be disrespectful to them. And now we're going to move on. We're going to move on.
Caribbean. Oh my God. Afro, I know it's like aggravating. She's a whole Nigerian, and it was named by a white tea woman. And how old is Nigeria? About 60 years old. Africa, you know what we should start
Nigeria
doing?
didn't pop up
One minute. I'm talking to the host. You know what we should start doing, Afro? Ask them why are they going by white tea standards and not calling Africa Al-Kabelulon or whatever the heck the original name is. Y'all are colonized so bad, but you won't do it to us, honey. We know who we are.
We should be saying, to be honest, do y'all really know where you're from as a Nigerian? I don't know if y'all really know where y'all from.
So I'm Igbo.
No, what were you before you were Igbo? You're not really Igbo though. Like, what were you 500 years ago?
Where were you?
No, where were you? Because you're trying to tell me we don't know. So where were you 500 years ago? Where were your people 500 years ago?
In Nigeria.
Are you sure? Can you show me DNA proof and documentation of that? I need some DNA evidence that you guys were there in Nigeria 500 years ago in documentation, because I'm just not sure.
But do you have documentation?
No, it's about you, because I mean you're the one who set this standard. So okay, we're going with your standard.
My family and my parents and my parents and my parents before that, they all lived in Nigeria. So.
That don't sound like no 500 years though. So I don't really know about that.
But how are you supposed to know?
Unless you can go back like half a millennia, I just can't believe that you're from Nigeria. I honestly, because I agree with your logic now. So I'm saying that everybody in the world now has to go back 500 years to verify where their nationality is from. I don't think you really know. A lot of you know where you're from. I don't think you know where you're from. You claim to be Nigerian, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you're projecting the fact that you don't really know where you're from. I think so.
do.
Well, you don't have any proof that you were there 500 years ago.
I know that I was.
But where were you 500 years ago? Because that's where you're really from.
In Nigeria, I already
But
told
you,
you.
but you don't have no proof that you were there 500 years ago.
Neither do you. You don't have proof if you were in
Well, I
America.
guess nobody knows where they're from. Then you don't know where you're from.
I do.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Okay.
Yeah, you see how that worked? Yeah, you shut down real quick. Let's get, because we got a lot of people who are in the hands. Yeah, we got a lot of people who are there. Yeah, still a lot of people in the queue. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep moving. Yeah, you didn't think we was gonna hit you like that, huh? Yeah, let's get to now we're gonna get to let's get to Halo. Halo, how you doing?
What's up, y'all? I see you just ate her up real quick. That's what's up. No, he did it in a nice way. But yeah, I want to talk about the group thing. I feel like they try to call us a hate group. I know we all heard it before. We a hate group. We this, that, and the third. So I got a question. So if we're a hate group, then who is those people over there that's doing those G sides to you? Because last I checked, a definition of a hate group is someone who goes and burn down your communities, oppress you, and do all those things that you claim, the white team ain't doing to us. Your own people doing it to you on your own land. So what do you call those G sides over there? Are those hate groups?
Mm-hmm.
Are those hate groups? Because I find it very funny that we're getting called hate groups because they're getting roasted online. Because you're getting roasted and put in your place. Now all of a sudden we hate groups. We haven't went upside your head yet, okay? We haven't went upside your head. We ain't did you bad like we did these white tea people out here. You know what I'm saying? Doing you real bad where they need a GoFundMe account because I know you seen that. Was it Connecticut or that little broad that just happened? Yeah. So I don't understand why you want to sit up here and call us a hate group when you got all those hate groups back in your homeland, and then you want to talk about some unity over here, coming our place talking about unity. You ain't got unity in your own land. I just don't understand it. And then come over here and think you could talk about somebody's identity and who we are. Why you so focused on us in America? Why you not focused on your land and fixing your land? Why you so worried about what our identity is over here? Worry about yourself. You got so many things you could be worried about, but your main party is the Black Americans and what their identity is. I have never seen so many group of people want parts of history in America because they ain't got no good history in their own continent or country, wherever they come from. So they come here and try to sit up there and put themselves in some things that they know they wasn't a part of. What is wrong with you and what's going on in your land? Why every time we turn around, the history that you give us is something about our history, or you trying to rewrite history, put yourself in it? What about your history on your land? You claim you got all this culture, you claim you got all this going on over there, but all you worry about is what we doing and how we moving and what history is it? What is your history?
Mm.
What is your history? I didn't never know that y'all was that obsessed with America. Y'all was that obsessed. You need to be that obsessed about your land, your own land. We're not worried about you. Nobody's going over there in your land trying to tell you who you is. Ain't nobody going over there in your land telling you what to do. Ain't nobody going on your land and telling you that you better than the people that's on that land. Because and delusional, y'all very delusional because you're not doing better than nobody on this land because you can't even do better on your own land. So a group of people that came from a failed country is not going to tell me how to move on my land where my people built and my people fought on this land and didn't flee. Came up with many inventions, and then they want to come up here and try to throw these natives up in here. But what have the natives did for America? We built America. America wasn't America when the natives, whatever you want to bring up, the little whitewashed natives.
If you built it.
It doesn't matter, sweetheart. Be quiet. I didn't come
Now,
off.
if you need to sit back and listen, okay? Because you're going through an identity crisis right now because you don't know where you're from. So you just need to listen to someone who does know, all right? Because you can't tell us anything because you clearly don't know where you're from or who your people really are. All right. So just sit back and we
I must have hit
got an identity crisis, but let Halo cook right now, okay?
Yeah, I must have hit her with a hurt a little bit because she sure came off that mic. But anyways, like I was saying, like you want to bring up the natives. What have the natives done for this land? What the little whitewashed natives that you claim that they did this? What have they done other than running around a campfire? That ain't trying to make it rain. Okay, so my thing is that ain't helping us. That didn't build up society. Where's the inventions that help that we use to today? What inventions? But you want to sit up here and try to make us deem us as bad and everything bad that we do, and you walking around here using our inventions, you walking, talking like us, all types of things. So I'm just trying to figure out what did y'all even honestly? I want to know, what did Africa do in today's society? What did y'all put into this world that we all need today, other than the resources that you guys didn't even use because you was too lazy to create something yourself? So it had took the colonizers to go over there and show you what to do with the resources, because you obviously didn't know what to do with the resources. So I'm just trying to figure out what have y'all what's your contributions? I can't get it out. And in the today's world, because I'm not seeing none. I'm not seeing none. But you want to come over here and talk about us and run your mouth about us. All I see is, if it wasn't for the colonizers going over there anyway and teaching you how to live the modern day that you're living now, you will still be somewhere in a mud hut in curled up in some tribe, undeveloped tribe, not knowing anything about into what's in today's society. Because the last I checked, you leech off everybody else's system. You don't build your own systems. That's why you're so worried about Black Americans, because you want to leech on to us, because we made America what it is today, and you want parts of some greatness because you don't have greatness back in your homeland, because you know you fled from a failed country where your country don't do for you, they don't care for you, they got G-sides, they ran you off, and now you're over here trying to do some tribalistic things, and we're not going for it.
Yep. We're too smart. Yo, you tried it, and a couple of y'all tried it. Y'all try to come up here with a gotcha moment. Y'all thinking, I don't know who y'all thinking y'all really talking to. Y'all really not talking to nobody average. I'm trying to tell y'all. All it is, like, oh, I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna trick y'all up, and y'all ain't. Trust me, we know too much about our history, world history, your history, geopolitics. We are way too educated for y'all to come here trying to trip us up with an I got you moment. I'm trying to tell y'all, don't embarrass yourself. All right. Speaking of that, BTV.
Sir, well, I'm gonna try to keep it to the topic. I think FBA, you know, from if you call yourself a lineage, I applaud your ingenious intuition to come up with that fact that you are a lineage, and I really support it. But at the same time, I want us to know that we cannot debunk the fact that we are one. We are Africans. Okay? I'm Nigerian, by the way. And what I smell, what I sense is more of ethnocentric cringe.
Ethnocentric what?
Cringe?
Cringe?
C-R-I, yeah,
Cringe?
C-R-I-N-G-E.
Okay.
Okay? That's the vibe I'm getting from the FBA movement. It might not be, but, have you taken any classes
So
in
what?
logic?
Okay, so what?
Have you taken any classes in logic?
Have I taken any classes in logic?
Yes.
Well, I got it naturally. I don't need a class in logic.
All right, have a good day.
Okay. Have you taken any classes in logic? Okay. Okay, now, let me ask you a question. Hold on, BTV. Let me ask you a question. BTV, come back. Are you here? Now, there was I posted on Twitter, there was a Ghanaian woman, and she's talking about Nigerians, and she's saying how Nigerians are pretty much the issue of Africa. Okay.
There's a
And
possibility.
I've seen her talk about Nigerians being the issue of Africa. I've seen South Africans talk about that. I've seen a lot of you all, a lot of different African countries and different African tribes literally drag Nigeria and y'all calling y'all the weak link of Africa, because of a lot of the scams and the crimes and the things that you guys do. And they also say that you all are very arrogant and troublemakers, you know. So, what are you gonna do? What are Nigerians gonna do to solve that problem?
Yeah, the problem is that Nigeria is about half the size of the United States, but have the same population as the United States. There's about 300 to 400 million people in Nigeria. Considering the fact that
You think that there's 300 to 400? You said million, right? Okay, million.
yes,
Okay.
kind of equivalent to the population of the United States.
Yeah, it's very big. Okay, I'm not sure about the numbers exactly, but it's very big. Let's say it's the equivalent. Okay.
So every 10 black people you see, there's a probability that 2 of them are going to be Nigerians.
Okay.
And that's based off the population. So you have the good, the bad, and the ugly out of every ethnic group. You're gonna see Americans, African, FBA, respectfully, who are just as a nuisance as some Nigerians
But
are to you.
that's a flawed way of looking at it though, because the thing is that if you guys, because every nationality and everything like that has good and bad people, right?
Correct.
But it seems as if what everybody is saying that you all have a very disproportionate amount of bad people,
Okay.
and you guys are causing a disproportionate amount of trouble and problems.
Yes, and that's
So,
because
so I'm asking, like, what are Nigerians going to do to solve that?
there's nothing we can do about that because inherently Nigerians are known to be overzealous. We just have this energy of we got to make it wherever we go, wherever we are. It's just
Mhm.
on in you. That ambition is in you, and sometimes some people take that energy in a negative direction,
Well, I feel
right?
like people take crimes in the negative direction. It's not
Right,
passion and energy and hustle. These
right.
are legitimate crimes. These are things against the law. So people take that very negatively.
Okay. At the same time, some of the best doctors you're going to meet in the United States are going to be Nigerians.
That's doubtful. I doubt that. But even if that was the case, what does that mean?
What I'm trying to say is that some people do channel that energy in the positive direction.
And that's true. But a lot of people are saying too many are coming here and causing issues. And the
Okay.
fact that you're trying to dismiss that is the problem.
No, I'm not dismissing that. I
Yeah, you are
totally own
dismissing
up
it.
to it.
You've
I
been
told you.
ever since I brought it up. You keep trying to dismiss that.
No, no, no. I
If
told you
if
that.
if multiple nations are saying that they have an issue with specifically Nigerian immigrants, not immigrants in general, but Nigerian immigrants, then don't you think that that's something that Nigerians need to come to their own consensus of how to change their behavior and how to fix their homeland
Let,
and change their
let me
culture? Because
before.
it's crazy how the whole diaspora is pointing out y'all
Okay.
as the problem.
All right. Let me tell you this. Before I became a behavior analyst, I worked as a correction officer in the
Okay.
prison. And I could actually tell you that I would say more than half of the men incarcerated in Texas Department of Criminal Justice are FBAs. But does that mean wait a minute, does that mean that I see every FBA man as a criminal? No, that's not true. Some
Well,
people are,
okay, here's the thing. In America, we get falsely arrested and falsely prosecuted, and that's a complete
I, I,
deflection. When
and
you
I could
go to
also say that
when you go to
also,
somebody's country, most of the people who are going to be in prison are the people of that country. I'm saying that other groups of people don't have issues with Black Americans going to their countries. They have issues with Nigerians coming to their countries. That's a completely
the,
different thing.
right, the
And you keep
population of
trying to
Nigerians.
deflect.
No, the population of Nigerians incarcerated in the United States criminal justice systems is probably not as much as the population of.
Okay, well,
Minute.
since
One
you keep
minute.
deflecting, we're gonna
Thank
move on
you,
because there's a lot
Afro.
of other
That's
people who want to
Have
speak.
crazy.
a good night.
That's crazy. Bye.
Bye bye.
Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? Well, you want to sit up there and talk about us? That's crazy. Let's get to who is next. Let's get to full bread customs. Oh, full bread customs going once, going twice. I guess full bread customs isn't here because we still got a lot of people want to come up, so we gotta make some room for everybody. Let's get to. I'm trying to bring up some people who haven't spoken yet. Let's get to Nab Deep. Nab Deep.
Mob. Thanks for letting me up. Thanks for the educational space. I want to answer the prompt, make a comment, and then I got a request because you kind of hijacked one of my talking points, which was pretty cool. But I do think FBA is our lineage. The second thing I like to say, these are not intelligent people. They don't value the truth. They don't care about the truth. These people are unimportant. We don't wake up in the morning thinking about these African people. And for some strange reason, right now, they are addicted to the attention because the whole world doesn't care about these people. Just in general in society, they are looked down upon. So now they're getting a lot of attention from these spaces, and they loving it. That's why they don't care about the truth. You can show it to them in a book. These people don't give a damn about the truth. But what I was going to ask, and this is my request, if you ever get a chance to do another room, at the bottom of your prompt, if you can squeeze this in, have them come up here and run their lineage down for a change. I done sat there and listened to all y'all break this stuff down over and over and over. I got books where I've been studying, and we done ran our history in my home. Let them tell us their lineage. Let them prove they can't go back 200 years. Let them when
That's
they
true.
come up and they wanna like, I guess, invalidate what we saying and debunk what we saying. Show us the proof of, like you just did, old girl. That was my whole talking point. That's why I was dying to get up. I said, damn. I said, he just took my talking point. Let them prove it. Can't none of them prove it. They can't go back 100 years. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys. I enjoyed the space. Thanks for letting me up.
Thank you. Yeah, they can't do that. And yet, and every single time we try to, and you saw, I went through history and facts and all of this, and I brought it up from start to finish, okay? And it was still this, I don't believe it. So you guys are literally trying to just be contrarians at this point and naysayers. They're just being naysayers. It's not like they actually don't believe it or believe some other fact. No matter how much factual evidence that you provide them, they don't have anything to retort. They're just going to say, no, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But they can't prove, they can't verify with their lineage the same thing they want you to verify. They couldn't do that. Let's get to Miss Terius, I think. You got it. Going once, Miss. All right, going twice. Okay, well, I guess you're not here with us. Let's get to Pretty Kitty.
Hey, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, Afro. Um, I just have a question. I'm just learning. I'm learning from you. Um, if I went to Asia and I built Asia, and 600 years later, my lineage still looks African, would I be? Would I claim? Can I claim Asia? Can I say Asia is my country,
Yeah.
even though my lineage still looks African 700 years later?
Asian. Well, the thing is that Asian is not all about where you look. If you built a country, you built a country. Then
Oh,
nobody can.
okay.
It's not about your phenotype.
Oh, okay.
And people keep trying to make it seem, and I'm answering your question.
Mhm.
People keep trying to make it seem like, well, because your phenotype looks similar to mine,
Mhm.
that means that you can't claim this other land because this other land has this other group of people who have a certain phenotype have a monopoly on the land, and that's not
Right.
true. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If
Because
if,
in Can oh, go
if
ahead.
you built a country and you stayed in the country, and your people who look like you, I would say, stayed in
Mhm.
the country centuries and centuries and centuries after you built it, then yeah, you're from that country.
That makes sense.
Because
Because
at a certain point in time,
Mhm.
everybody in the world looked black.
Right.
There was a point in time when everybody looked black, had black features, had Afrocentric features, which you would
Mhm.
call it,
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
Or Negro features.
Yeah,
And then
especially the Asians.
over time, that evolved and people's hair textures changed and
Mhm.
facial features and phenotype changed. And
Right.
even in Africa, you have many different people who have different phenotypes, right? Like,
Mhm.
for instance, Ethiopians, their hair texture is very different from a Nigerian, even though
Right.
they're both African. You know,
Right.
there are some African people, no admixture, very light skinned. And I'm not
Mhm.
talking about the albinos. I'm talking about
Like
light skinned,
Igbo.
melanated African people.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You have some who have big lips, some who have thin lips. So genetics is a very interesting thing in that way.
Okay. Because in Canada, the Indians from the Asian continent in Canada, they're trying to like kick them out, but they've been there for centuries. So I understand what you're saying.
Hmm.
Okay.
And it's a thing right now where everybody trying to purge blackness out of everything.
I mean, you guys are your own group. You know,
Hmm.
you're your own group. You create your own culture, so that makes sense. But my
Let me ask you,
question,
where you from though?
I'm from Ethiopia.
Okay.
So like, do you feel like the Native American? Because I know blacks mixed with Native Americans.
Hmm.
So do you feel like the Native Americans like have a problem with other people claiming their country?
Um, there's a lot of Native Americans who have an issue, but the thing is that for you to argue that this is your country, you have to argue. A lot of them don't have a legitimate argument. They want to claim to be indigenous, but a lot of them are descended from Europeans,
Yeah,
honestly. Which is
cause
why, and let me add this, which is why look at anybody and everybody claiming to be a quote unquote Native American today, and then Google pictures of the Native Americans and see how different the actual Native Americans
the black
looked, how
natives.
how how much darker their skin was, how
Yeah.
much wider their facial features were. Look at how much different the actual Native Americans looked versus the people who claim to be Native American today. These
Right.
people look closer to Europeans than they do to natives, but they claim to be natives.
Do you know we have that same thing in Africa? Like, let's say if East African traveled to West Africa for like thousands years of later, they will be considered West African, but you know their lineage still would be acknowledged from the East. We have that too in Africa.
Okay.
So you guys do claim African descent, right?
A lot of us, because the thing is that our history is complex. There was a slave trade that happened in America, and a lot of us do claim to have some African descent. There are some people who say that their descent is just indigenous.
Because a
You
lot
know
of
what
y'all
I'm
do
saying?
look native, the
But
black native.
there's, because this is a lineage of a lot of mixed people. You know what I'm saying? So there's some people who claim to be a mix of African, European, and indigenous. There are some people who claim to be just African and indigenous. There are some people who just claim to be indigenous or native or whatever the case is. So it's a lineage of people. I can't tell people what their percentage is. Everybody has to do their own genealogy as far as that's concerned, and their own lineage as far as that's concerned. I'm just speaking on the lineage as a collective of being a descendant of U.S. chattel slavery.
Okay, so you do believe the DNA test that people do and it traces, you know, you do believe in that, right? The DNA test.
Um, yes, I do believe in it. I do think people misinterpret that because people don't understand how DNA works and genealogy works. Most of these people don't understand that. So most of these people are misreading their DNA test.
Hold on,
So,
this girl,
I'm
this,
saying, hold on, let me finish answering. I'm
okay.
saying that because a lot of people will look at that and they'll say, well, my DNA tells me I am 67% Nigerian. So that means I'm a descendant of Nigerian. And that's just really not how the science works. And if you look at the paper and you don't know how the science is broken down, you're going to
Right.
misinterpret that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Oh, so yeah, I've seen those tests. I've seen a
Hmm.
lot of them.
Yeah.
Because some people, so your lineage is African, right?
No, my lineage is foundational Black American because we had an ethnogenesis, so that was the beginning
How
of a new
old?
lineage.
Okay, how old is foundation? How old is the FBA? Like, how old is it?
The lineage it started in. You can make the argument that it really started with America. We were building America
I meant
all
like
together. If you
the
want to
name
start with
FBA.
the beginning of the slave trade, you can say 1619. Even if you want to go back a little bit further to the
No, no, I meant
beginning
the
of the
name.
Revolutionary War, yeah, you can make the argument
The
of
name. I
when
meant the name FBA because
the
I.
name FBA.
How old is it?
The name was coined maybe 5 or 6 years ago, 6 7 years ago, maybe.
6 years ago. Okay, so if it was made 6 years ago, how can you claim something that was made 6 years ago, but you weren't
Can
called
I jump in
FBA?
here?
Well, how?
I'm
Hold
sorry.
on, hold on. Well,
I'm gonna
Just
argue
how
with you
educate
old?
me.
How
earlier
old?
than
Let
Just
me ask
that.
you a
Bro,
question. How
this
old is
this crazy.
One
everybody?
minute, y'all. 1 minute.
Everybody. How old is African American though?
Right.
African
African
American.
American is not a very old term. There are
It's
some
not.
people who are alive today that have been living longer than the term African American.
I think I heard it
Right here. I'm
from
older than African
So let me
American.
ask you.
1776.
No, it's
No.
not.
It
No.
was
What year?
Negro before
But
that.
here's the thing, and
Okay,
there's a
no,
lot of
just
people
educate
who are
me. Don't
old.
yell
That's
at
not
me.
that long, ma'am.
Educate
Hold
me.
on, listen. That's not that long ago. 1770s is not really that long ago, ma'am. So so names change. The lineage is the same, but the name you refer to the lineage changes in
Right.
America.
Cause you were
Okay,
Indians first, right?
ma'am.
You were
Okay, now you're
Indian.
being
No,
disingenuous.
I'm asking.
Stop
You
Right.
were
doing that.
Indians first, then it
Bro,
changed
you
to
gotta
Afro.
change
Negroes.
it.
Stop doing
Bro,
that.
you gotta
Cut
One
that
Why?
out.
minute. 1 minute,
Okay.
FBA. 1 minute, pretty kitty. So we are a reclassified people,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, I know about
Okay.
that.
So now, don't speak until I finish, please. Let me get this out. My phone is
Okay.
acting up. I
Okay.
had to close some tabs. So here's the thing. We could argue when African American was first said, right? We could argue that. However, it was not applied to the whole nation in the
Right.
manner that it is now until the late 1980s. So when Afro says there are people that's older than African American, he means when it became an official reclassification. I'm here to tell you, I'm that person. I'm
Okay.
older than the term, right? So this is the thing with foundational Black Americans. It don't matter when we said it. Afro remembers 5 years. I'm gonna argue 2016, 2017, which is longer than 5 to 6 years ago. Correct?
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
here's the issue. The government has always tried to tell us who we are. What we're saying to our government, and this is why y'all really shouldn't be in this conversation, is that we are different than the people you are allowing in this country. We are foundational, and that we are foundational Black Americans. We are opting to keep one of the last reclassifications of not only us, but our ancestors. So when we break down now the specific, if I break down mine, my ancestors go from Creole to mulatto to Negro to Black. That's it. I'm the first African American.
Okay.
Get it?
I'm just learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So
So,
you're
okay, you
welcome.
can go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're
Okay.
gonna move on.
Wait, just last question for
Ma'am,
BX,
you've been
please.
asking. There's a lot of people who
Just
want
last.
to.
She's teaching
Ma'am,
me.
there's a
I'm
lot of people
learning.
who want to speak.
Teaching you.
I'm just
You
Okay.
ain't
learning.
trying to learn nothing.
Okay,
I'm
so we're
learning
gonna
from
move
her.
on. All
Why do
right.
y'all keep getting reclassified? Do you know yourselves?
Oh man, she playing.
We do now, and
That's
I
what
told
I'm
you that was the
telling y'all,
last
man.
thing.
Let me jump in here, bro. Let me jump in here, please.
She playing, bro.
Did you see? Do you see how they come in and act like, well, I
Yeah.
just want a question. I just want to ask a question, and then I answer it, and I'm doing it even though I know what she's doing. I'm doing it so you guys can be informed on how to answer, and it's for the audience more so, okay? Because this is a good refresher and a good educator. But she's trying to slip us up. She's trying. That's why she asked, well, how old is the term FBA? How can you identify? She thought that was a I gotcha moment until I brought up the fact that African American ain't that old. She keeps thinking that they keep trying to get you with these I gotcha moments, but they're not smart enough to do that. Miss
Yes.
Aquarius, yeah.
Yes, I'm here. I was here. I'm sorry, the mic was off. All right. I'm originally, I was born in Africa. I've lived in America like 30, 40 years now. This is what I was going to ask, okay? Or say, or my understanding. So America is kind of unique because it's one of the places where, from what I understand, people came here, you know. Well, I mean, they had the original, the Indians, American Indians that were here. Okay, fine, but it's a place where a lot of people came. They had the people who came from Europe, either because of religious persecution or they chose to come, whatever. And then you had people who did come from Africa, which unfortunately they came the way they came. Okay, as slaves and forced. Okay, now what I've understood it to be, or what I've seen it to be in the years that I've been here, the people that came from So all of these people are Americans. Okay, that's what I understand. America is all these people that came from all these places. Now, what I understood the difference is, I noticed that with the Caucasians that came from like Europe and all that kind of place, when they came, they kind of maintained a lot of their culture from over there, and also they even kind of maintain their names. Sometimes there was a kind of, a little change in their names a little bit, but they maintain their names, and they also sometimes maintain connection with Europe. They knew what city their people were from. Sometimes they even kept in contact with them. Okay. And they were always, welcome to come back, or sometimes they went to visit and came back. Africa was a little different. Like I noticed, when the black people came, of course, they changed their name. They cut them off completely from their culture. They
Hold on, let it go.
did try. Let me just say, I'm not trying to be. They did try to maintain some things, because after living here 40 years, I do see some things, in the Black American culture that I recall, from where, like, some things were maintained. I'm just saying that there's some things in the African American culture that I remember, or that I can relate to from back home, from when I was in Africa as a child, the things I can relate to. Okay, now here's what's unfortunate, okay? Not unfortunate, but like the Caucasians and the black people, okay, that came from wherever they came from, okay? I don't really think it's fair for Africans to say that the blacks who are here are Africans per se, Yes, you are Americans. The same way those Europeans that came from Ireland and Germany and wherever, like they are Americans too, you're Americans. It's just that there are a high percentage of you black people here that have that ancestry. They have that ancestry that came from the continent of Africa. But what is unfortunate? There's a disconnect between the Africans in Africa and the blacks in Africa, I should say, and the blacks that are here as African Americans, is that we did not connect. We don't connect. And it's two ways. I do agree that the Africans don't treat the Americans, there's a disconnect. Sometimes you're not accepted. But I want you to know that on the American side, there are many Americans also that do not accept the black people. It's amazing some of the ways I've been treated, or some of the ways
One
I've been
moment, ma'am.
Okay, go
Ma'am.
ahead.
Okay,
Mysterious.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
you can
what's
call me Mia.
unfortunate is that the continent of Africa, some of the tribes captured our ancestors. That was the first disconnect. Correct? Correct.
I was just
When
about
you
to say
say
that.
that you've been living here 40 years, when you say that you've been living here 40 years and you see some things from Africa, you see some retention, you're
Yes.
missing a big element that my people practice Pan-Africanism. Everything from my teenage years, my elders who were in the music industry paid homage to Africa because they were told that was their motherland. So it wasn't that we were able to really retain anything, because most of our ancestors could have been unalived if they spoke their language, practiced spiritual customs. At one point, they had to cover their hair, right? So here's my issue. And you did. I don't know where you're going with all of this. Please don't say blacks. You got to say black people or foundational black Americans or black Americans,
Black
because
people.
it's really irksome.
Okay.
So here's the thing: we paid homage to Africa for years. What you're seeing now is Africans living a so we were not there for so many years.
Yes, you're backing up.
You're right. We're not, y'all. And now, and we're here. So you to disrespect from
BX, you're
people that
breaking
we
up a
reached
little
out
bit.
to first. That's the witnessing. Okay.
You're
Did
breaking
you
up
catch
a
the
bit.
last
What
part?
I'm saying, yes, what I'm
Yeah,
saying
Did
is,
you catch the last part?
thing.
yeah, this
The
is what I'm
last
saying.
part was that what she's witnessing is that people who reached out to the continent of Africa first,
Yeah,
and that we were disrespected. So you're
yeah.
witnessing our reaction to disrespect. That's what you're witnessing.
Let me
That's
Yes,
all.
ma'am.
let
Yes,
me
ma'am.
add
I
on
do
because
understand, ma'am. Let me
hold
just say
on,
one
hold
thing. I
on.
understand that.
Let
I
me add
respect
on,
that.
ma'am. Let me add on.
Uh-huh.
Where from Africa are you from? You're from Nigeria?
I'm from Sierra Leone. In
Sierra
West
Leone.
Africa also,
Okay,
yeah,
then let me
Sierra
say,
Leone.
hold on, let me say
Uh-huh.
something. Now, when you said that other Europeans and everything like that were able to bring over their culture, I saw a interview with someone, I forgot where it was, but truth be told, that actually makes us the most American. When somebody brings up about the Native Americans being the quote unquote true Americans, why I say we're the true Americans is because everybody else, whether they're European, whether they're Chinese, whether they're everybody else carried over a previous nation, a previous nationality. We're the only group of people on this land that had to start a nationality from scratch. The only group of people that had to start the nationality with the start of America. Our nationality and ethnicity began when America began. We are literally the only people. Everybody else carried over and bought over, and nobody else had an ethnogenesis. Not the Italians, not the Irish people, not the British people, not the English people, not the Chinese people, not even the quote unquote so-called natives. We are the only people who had to literally begin when America began, which is why we are the truest of America. We are the true Americans. There is nobody who is more more to the genesis of America than we are.
Sir,
Nobody,
I
everybody
do
else
not
is.
dispute that,
Every
sir.
hold on, hold on, hold
I
on,
do
hold
not
on, hold
dispute it. But
on.
you go
Stop.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Everybody else carried over something. No one else had an ethnogenesis except us. So that part is accurate. Okay. Now, when you're talking about it goes both ways, it does not, because the olive branch has been extended to the diaspora. Okay, we've been sending signals to the diaspora and nothing has been sent back. Okay, if y'all know about the old computers, you would have to peg a computer and then the computer would have to read that and peg back. We've been sending letters and nothing has been sent back our way. Like I said earlier in this live stream, the whole return to Africa thing, that the new thing that only some African countries are doing. There's 54 African countries, right? And only two or three are doing the return to Africa thing. It was 52, right?
I'm not
Something like
sure.
that. Something like that, right? Over 50 of them. I can't believe I forgot that. Only a couple of them are doing the return to Africa. 54. I was right the first time. 54 countries, and only a couple of them are trying to do the return to Africa thing. And they only just started that. Okay, that's a very new thing that these people are doing. A lot of that is really a finesse, but besides that, the olive branch has never been received from us. Okay, we've never received an olive branch from the diaspora. Okay, so you guys are coming over here from the one-way trip of Pan-Africanism that we've extended. Okay, and then you guys say, well, hold on, it's a 50-50 thing. No, it's not a 50-50 thing. It's not. Because you're in America benefiting off of work that you guys didn't do. Your ancestors didn't do this work. Our ancestors did. But you get to benefit from that. So just off of that alone, it can't be a 50-50 thing. Because I couldn't go to Nigeria or Sierra Leone. I couldn't go over there and say, well, you know what? It's a 50-50 thing, because they would be all like, no, it's my house. So by definition, you're not peers. That's, I think, the difference between us and the diaspora. When you're in our country, you're not peers. Just like we wouldn't be peers if we went to your country. We're not peers in your land. You're not, if somebody came into my house, you're a guest in my house. They don't own my house. They don't get to make decisions in my house. Okay? You're not a peer to me in my house. You're a guest in my house. And
Sir, I am not disputing, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Hold
I am not
on,
disputing that.
stop. You guys have been welcomed in the house, yet you guys have this thing where you guys think that you guys actually co-own the house or are on equal playing fields in the house. We're not peers in this house. We built the house. And the only reason we're here is because we were on the inside and opened the door for you. So you don't get to come in and talk about some 50-50 thing.
Sir, if I may say, please listen to me, sir. I'm not saying that Africans come here and they say they are Americans. What I'm answering is, what I'm responding to is the fact that the black people, okay, that are just a second, that are calling themselves Americans, that you don't want to be called Africans. I get it. I'm saying that we were disconnected. So don't miss the part that, okay, there are, you being, okay, the black people being more American than the Caucasians that came. I don't understand that, which is fine. I go with it. I will study that. All I am saying is, okay, I also understand that you're saying, as the Black American, the new FBA, you're saying that you are not African. I get it. Okay, and I know that you understand that, well, some of the Black people, their ancestry does go back to Africa, okay? And just because you have 30%, 40%, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily African. Okay, I get that. Okay, but you have to understand, don't forget the reason why there's this difference between, because when you look at the Irish people, German people, the Caucasians that are American, okay, they kind of identify with that. They don't mind being called Irish. They usually, the ones I've met, they don't mind being called Irish.
None of those situations are like ours.
No, I do understand. Yes, sir, I do. Because even like on St. Patrick's Day, they proudly out there with the green and whatever. They don't mind being called Irish or German. I understand that, because how they came. They were persecuted, but they came willingly. But the Black people that came, the way they came, and also not only the way the people came.
Okay, for the sake of time, I'm gonna let you land. I'm gonna let you land for the sake of time, because
we were separated. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying for people listening to understand that it's not like, I understand that you don't want to be African and you shouldn't be called African. Yes, you do have the lineage, but also I'll tell you something about African culture. Okay, even if you're from West Africa or North Africa or South Africa, we have this thing where if you are Black, okay, and if you have any kind of touch in Africa, a cousin, or you're 5%, you are immediately thought of as a brother. Just like now, if I'm from Sierra Leone, okay, that's just how it is among the Africans. I'm so sorry that they extend it to you. If I meet a Nigerian,
are you speaking for all Africa, or are you speaking for Sierra Leone?
They will come up here and tell you. If you meet, I'm just saying, if you meet a Nigerian, if I meet a Nigerian right now, okay, they're my brother. If I meet an Ethiopian, there's a kind of kinship. That's the feeling. Other Africans can come up and tell you that. So what happens is, when I come to America,
ma'am, stop. Okay, if that's the case, why is there so much tribalism and battles going on, tribalistic wars going on today in Africa? There are Africans protesting. If they're all brothers, there are Africans protesting to kick other Africans out of their country.
Yes, there are problems in Africa.
In 2025, multiple countries are banning other African countries from going into their tribes. There are tribalistic beefs going on all through Africa. You all keep coming over here acting like we don't know what's going on over there.
Sir, we know Africa is not perfect. I'm talking about...
It's far from perfect.
No, sir, I'm talking about the relationship. You were discussing relationships. So let me just say,
we're gonna stop.
I would love to talk about.
And I thought this is why I asked you. Hold on, everybody. This is why I asked you. Are you speaking for all Africa or Sierra Leone? You said you're speaking for Africa, and then you went to be all like, if you're quote 5% African, we consider you brothers. And I'm all like, well, y'all don't do that in Africa today, and they weigh more than 5%. They are literally African. Like full blood African, and y'all do not treat other Africans that way. You are not gonna come over here and make it seem like Africa is the place of harmony and bliss and kumbaya. We know how Africa gets down. Y'all keep making it seem like we don't know that.
Can I speak, brother?
I'm
Can I speak?
I'm gonna let you go in there full breed, and then we're gonna get to FBA.
Okay. First of all, okay. I wanna start by apologizing.
Hold on. Let's let Nana speak first.
I've been waiting, brother, patiently.
Oh
You
no.
know, I want to touch on a few things because I've been waiting. The first off is when the guy came, they talking about Nigerians, how many FBA are in prison. Excuse me, Nigerians in Africa are in prisons in large numbers abroad, in Asian countries, in Dubai for different crimes. Okay. And another thing, you have Africans, and I'm full FBA. My mother, father, all here. Just like when the one saying about tracing your roots back to 500 years. What do you mean? We can trace our roots in America back further than 5 years. And Native Americans, who they call Native Americans, I'm jumping over the board here because I've been waiting. I'm sorry. And I want to touch on them talking about Native Americans. Native, you have some of the so-called quote unquote original Native Americans, if you want to call that, because they've been so ingrained in European culture. They know the reason why they're dying off and their tribes are not standing, their so-called reservations, because again, just like Africa, when you get rid of the source of your strength, and European is going to come back and get you for it. Okay? And that's what happened. Okay? We are the true natives of this land.
Yes.
They are an offspring of us, and they know that. And they got rid of their strength. And you see how these Africans come on here and waste time. That's how it shows you why the continent is the way it is. That woman talked about she had a whole bunch
That's
of
it.
words and she wasn't saying nothing. Wasn't saying nothing. They just want to scapegoat on their actions because we're calling them out finally after decades. Because John Henry Clark and Joseph Ben Yakinen talked about this because when they little of them started coming over here, they did the same thing, talking about who's the real African. So now we're saying, okay, since we were reaching out to you and we know now that you don't like us, guess what? We're not even a part of you. Okay? And so now we're separating ourselves. They mad. Why? Because they know we get things done. So they're over here working with the government to try to stop us from getting our reparations from and they know that they're not going to benefit off of us anymore. So now, let us gather up. We're together. We're one brother. What are you saying? I've been to the continent twice. My ex was from Ghana. I got treated, even though I took care of their brother for 13 years, helping him out, building a house, buying land, starting a business. They still treated me like I was second class. You understand what I'm saying? Because I was Black American. I said, let me tell you something. Do you know without us, you could not be here? We did this, and okay, let me start with this. You see how they bringing in? We're talking about African Black people business. This woman is up here talking about the Irish and this and that. What the hell does that got to do with anything? America was being built before they got here. They came here through the doors that we were opening for you Negroes. And they tried to join in what we were already being built. And if you ever try to associate those people with our struggle here in Black America, they were never ever treated like we were. We were forced labor. We were forced in their house. We were forcibly raped. We were forcibly murdered.
Okay, let's
Against,
you're on TikTok.
Facts,
Remember,
facts, 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 facts.
you know what I'm saying? We were forced in those fields. My grandmother was 90 something when she died, right? And I think she started getting income tax the last 5 years of her life. You know, this thing just started. You understand? And I'm from the South. I'm from South Florida. I'm from them bush people where we used to cut off them crackers' head in them bushes and feed them to the alligators. You understand what I'm saying? And nobody from Africa, if y'all wanted to be a part of us so much, where were you all of those years when we were suffering? You didn't come claim us then. It's only when we open the doors and had you come into our infrastructures and come to our schools and come thinking that we think you was gonna be like us and join us, and you came and fell at the knees of the slave master as soon as we opened the door and said, I'll suck your dick, master, I'll suck your dick. This is what's going on here. So I had to walk off from my relationship and let them know you're not going to rule me. I am full FBA. We created everything. And we are everything. And I'm going to land my plane, brother. I give thanks. I joined you. I just followed you. I have to go to work early in the morning. I've been listening like, oh, God, finally, because you go to these African lives, you don't get no good dialogue. Everybody's just talking crazy, yelling and talking over each other. There's no order. And that's what they're trying to bring to us, disorder. And this what they're doing. We're going to organize and hopefully they'll copy us because you copy every damn thing else. So you need to copy our order. You understand? Because we're going to get this together and we're going to get our Black Wall Streets back and we're going to do this thing. And they need to learn, let the head lead because we are the royal house for a reason. Because when I did a video about this today. Just think about this, and I'm gonna let it go from there. Just think how they're acting now, right? And how they showing us, right? And how they being. Just think if we were still in bondage and we were coming to them, even Caribbean, and we had to go to their land. Do you think them Negroes would save us? How they acting? But in the midst of our storms, our struggling, we still said in our spirit, we gotta help our brothers too in the diaspora. And then now we come and you spit in our face. Damn it, if you gonna come and join our live, you better come with some knowledge. If they ain't on our level, brother, I know you say you doing this to let the audience see. No, don't give them no chance here, man. We ain't got no time for delay, and they like to delay. That's why the continent is what it is. Culture, some things need to go in, like John Henry Clark say, need to go in the trash cans of history. It's about evolving. Anything that stops changing dies. It's dead. All right, that's it.
Appreciate you, sister. Appreciate you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
That was passionate. Thank you,
Hell
Nana.
yeah.
Fire, wasn't she? Let's get to full blood customs.
Okay, okay, thank you. First of all, I want to start. Can you hear me, please? Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
first of all, I want to start by not apologizing for the Africans that will be speaking. Okay, I'm from Biafra. Okay,
You're from
okay,
where?
and I'm from Biafra. Okay,
Okay.
Biafra is 80% of Black America. Okay, there's so much lies about slavery that the United States covered up. Okay, a lot of things about slavery was planned. It was one tribe. Okay, it was targeted. Okay, everything was planned. It was coordinated. Okay, and these Africans that are coming out here right now, playing like they don't know that majority of the slaves came from the Igbo tribe. Okay, they all need to be. I'm glad you're actually doing this. Okay, it's showing you views about different people in the same continent that you see what is really happening. Okay, let me give you an example. You see what is happening in Ghana. Okay, I'm Igbo. Okay, and the same thing is happening in Ghana right now. Okay, okay, Ghanaians, most of these countries work together with the slave traders to take us for slavery. Okay,
Yeah.
80% of my tribe. Okay, they all made money from slavery. Okay, and what is going on basically right now is that the Igbos are traveling all over the world, and they're realizing that we are the ones that was enslaved out of all the tribes in Africa. So we are taking it to the whole United Nations everywhere. We are bringing it. Even Google, we just wrote to Google, okay, and we are telling Google he has to erase some of the false information that is misleading, okay, that is feeding, most people
Now,
in the world about our tribe, okay,
for the sake of
that we
time,
sold our tribe,
for the
okay.
sake of, brother, for the sake of time, we're a little off subject. We're a little off
No, we're
subject.
not. No, we're
So
not.
I'm
No,
gonna
we're
ask
not.
you,
No,
what do
we're
you
not.
think
No,
about?
we're not.
No,
I
we
understand what
are.
you're saying. I'm gonna
Because I'm
tell you the
asking about,
relationship of what I'm saying right now. What
bro-
relationship of what I'm saying right now to
brother.
Black Americans?
I'm okay.
Okay,
I'm not.
okay, that's what I'm
Getting,
trying
because
to tell you.
right now you're
If I
talking
if, if I
about.
don't say this,
Well, okay, we're not
just
gonna do
listen to
that.
Bob
We're not
Marley.
gonna do
Bob Marley
that.
say,
We're
if you don't
not
know
going
where
to
you're coming
stop.
from,
Stop
you
it.
can
We're
never know where
not
you're
going to
going.
do that. All right, because We have a lot. We've been on here for a few hours already. We
But
have
I
a
waited.
lot of
I
people.
waited just like every other
Well,
person.
okay, and yeah,
I
that's why
waited
I'm
for two
letting you
hours
speak.
online, and
I'm
I
letting
reserved
you,
my own time.
sir. We're not going to do that. All right. And a lot of people have been waiting. Okay, and
Bottom
I'm
line, but my
trying to.
bottom line is that okay? Is this okay?
Okay, dude,
Can I say anything? I mean,
cut it out. Okay, because
for what
what
now?
I'm
What
trying
do you
to
mean?
do is give you a. I was trying to be more than fair and give you a chance to address the prompt.
Dude,
Because right
dude,
now you're
dude, dude,
talking
dude.
about.
I'm not those Africans. Listen, dude, you can talk to me like that. You can take me off.
I don't gotta talk to you at all. How about that?
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
crazy.
I don't gotta talk to
That's
you at
crazy.
all.
Thank you.
Am I next?
Yeah, you go next.
All right, cool. Hey, I definitely appreciate your platform, man. You doing God's work on here tonight for real. I'm gonna answer the prompt. We 100% are lineage, and I think what the rest of this country is seeing right now, and the rest of the world is seeing, is us trying to define who we are for the first time in history. And I think that that's an important thing that we need to differentiate from our culture and everybody else for real. And I've been listening for a while, and I've been trying to figure out whether other groups are trying to understand where we're coming from, or whether they're trying to undermine it. Because the truth is, if 2 or 3 generations of white people can say they're from Africa, then 16 generations of black people can definitely say that we're not. You know what I mean? So I just want to leave off by saying that I'm so proud of our people. You know what I mean? Because we've never seen this in history, at least not in my generation, for real. Like, this is truly revolutionary. And just keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate your support as well. Let's get to Britt. How you doing?
Hello, everybody. Yes, we are definitely a lineage, and I think that's why a lot of people are kind of upset. The ones who, in which, cannot now come in and say that they are a part of something that our ancestors and ourselves basically created from nothing. You know, because anybody can come in and say that they're African American. I even heard a Jamaican say that he was African American. So anybody can come on the tag and say that they're African American, but not everybody can say foundational Black American, because you would need paperwork to actually certify that. So I think that's why it's so much pushback because we are basically identifying ourselves. Now, outside of that, I just had some information that I wanted to give to you guys because, from my understanding, Native American and Indigenous that's two different. We're talking about two different groups here. Native Americans are people who are Siberian or Asiatic, and they of Russian descent. So they were Alaskan natives prior to the America purchasing Alaska, and then they became Native American, that sort of thing. So, in this document, which anybody can Google it and find it if they put in ohchr.org, and I'll put it underneath. And this is a document where the Yamasee Nation of Moors, who are indigenous group, who are actually acknowledged according to the United Nations as an indigenous group of African Moors who came up once they got kicked out of Europe. After they lost the war, they came across to America, and they were able to claim refuge, I'm guessing, and they were adopted into the Constitution. And in this document, they were basically coming against the United States, and they were talking about the unfair treatment of their people. And I found it interesting because when they were naming the different groups of tribes that were a part of the Yamasee tribe, I'm gonna skip over a few things and just go to something because you guys can look it up if anybody can Google it. It says 1715 Yamasee Uprising and the Trail of Tears is a historical event which has been acknowledged by the U.S. Congress passing the following resolutions numbers, in which the U.S. federal government, under the command of U.S. President Andrew Jackson, rounded up our people, be they Yamasee, I don't know how to, Choctaw, Cherokee, Moor, Olmec, Seminole, Yikshay, Washita, and forced them to walk west of the Oklahoma away from their traditional lands, which were illegally and unlawfully taken forced by the United States. And these lands included Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee, which the indigenous people acquired and obtained legally. It also in this talks about the unfair treatment of an indigenous man who was black and of African Moorish descent. And a lot of them were mixing up with the Native American people in this documentation. And they also made mention of the Great Turtle Islands. You know, so all the information that we have been saying basically can be proven in this U.S. document, because a lot of people want to hear from the white man, you know, in order to make it true. So it's a lot of information in this. If they just go to ohchr.org and pull up this documentation, they can find a lot of information there.
Okay. All right. Y'all know where to go. Y'all know how to get that research. Thank you. Thank you, Britta. I appreciate that. Appreciate you. Thank you. Okay. You know, everybody, and this is what I'm saying. I can talk about the origin of the lineage itself and our distinction of us being our own lineage, but then our history on this land has been so mixed. I think it would be beneficial for everybody to do their own genealogy, okay? Because your genealogy, BX's genealogy, might not be mine. My genealogy might not be FBA Detroit's or Halo's or whatever the case is. Even if we have the same lineage, our genealogical ancestry may be different. You know, we can't just assume we have the same genealogical ancestry, so we gotta do our own research. So it's good that people can bring up sources for us to find the avenues in our ancestry and research and stuff like that. You know, so thank you. Let's get to Kendall.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so very much. I have been saying, I'm 66 years old, and I've been saying like forever, why are we always honoring those kings and those kingdoms in Africa when our people here have done so much building this country? And it's so wonderful now that you young people are doing this. I now associate myself with FBA. What I do for my people, I'm a retired school principal, but I then went back to become a librarian, and I help to show the children how to agriculture, how to plant and grow their food and to cook their food. I just finished that with the Y. I help families. So I'm doing things for my people, and it is such a good thing because I love being around my people. The history that we have is so rich. To hear the stories of George Washington Carver and Malcolm X, his mom helped him with agriculture and planting and all that. So that's all I'm doing now is helping people to grow your own food, be self-sufficient like our ancestors were. And when I look on TV and I see these doggone chefs that are millionaires, that should be our people. We were the ones who was doing the cooking. We were the ones who were doing the gardening and everything. So I thank you so much for this forum. I thank you. And yes, put them off because that's how they do. I go in and I listen to what they say, and they are rude and crude. And you're right. They're just awful. Even when I went to Africa, how they were at the airport, just standing on top of the cat, just acting, just ignorant. So I thank you so much for this forum, sir. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak. I am FBA. I am for my people. And thank you so very much.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Everybody, let's tap the screen. Let's tap the screen, get the likes up. We've been here late. We've been on here for a few hours, but we've been having a really good conversation, so everybody can tap the screen and get the likes up. Now, let me see. The Billa. How do you pronounce your name?
It's Labella.
Labilla. Okay. You had a question in the chat room. What was your question exactly?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for bringing me up. Proud African here.
Okay.
I'm glad you dropped that Nigerian guy that was up here anyway, because these people are talking about Syria issue. You here talking about BFR and all this stuff. I don't know how that's going to change anything. Miss Kendall, you was on an African Live last night. Whatever you just said is not what you just said on this platform.
Okay, well, we're not gonna talk about what
Okay.
happened on
Why
another
you
live.
so
Let's
So,
talk
mad? Why you
about
so
tonight.
mad?
Let's
my,
talk
See
my,
about
how
tonight.
you
okay.
are? See how they
So,
are?
Ma'am, yeah.
all right.
Awful.
Let me get to this whole thing now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about the FBA, but what I wanted to ask you is, host, why are y'all so mad at Africans right now?
Okay, well, here's the thing. Let me ask you, because you got 3 different flags in your bio.
Uh huh.
Where are you from? You have 3 different flags in your.
Okay. My mom
Where,
is Nigerian. My dad is Jamaican.
but who's Nigerian in your family?
My husband.
Okay, okay. What state do you live in? If
I'm
you
in
don't mind.
California.
California. Okay, cool. And now you asked why are we so mad?
Yeah.
Okay, because of trolls like yourself who are dishonest. Because I brought you up here because you were trolling in the chat room and you were making fun. You were like, ha ha, how are the boycotts going? Which is, and the second you said that, I immediately brought you up.
Right.
And then when I brought you up, hold on, when I brought you up and said, what was the question? You didn't want to ask the question
I'm
that you
still
were
coming to
asking in the
that.
chat
I
room.
have a few things to
So
say,
with,
so I'm still
ma'am,
coming to
with
that.
this, because of the lack of honesty and character that you just displayed, because you were woofing in the chat room,
Because I
and now
want y'all
you're
to
going to
still go
have
on with the
very different
boycott.
energy when you're up on the panel. And this is exactly
So are
why
you
we
going to
have an
let me
issue.
talk why I came up here? You brought me up here, so you going to let me say what I came to say?
Say what you got to say.
Okay. What I wanted to say to y'all is this. Since y'all have so much issues with African, like I wrote in the chat when I came on, go ahead with the boycott. That's not going to stop nothing in African businesses. I think y'all got bigger issues y'all need to be worrying about, and not Africans. The people that's actually stepping on y'all necks or having y'all feeling the way y'all feeling, y'all don't have all this energy for them. But when it comes to Africa,
Let's stick with you. Let's stick with you because we've been
wasn't
fighting.
that y'all the same people that
Hold
was
on,
just saying with Abraham Traore? I mean, you keep
let's
muting
let her
me.
go on her rant.
500 years.
Let's go on
500
your
years.
little rant. Go on your little rant, ma'am.
500.
Yeah, people keep muting me. Weren't
Go
y'all
on
the
your
same
little rant.
African Americans that were just standing with Abraham Traore? So what just changed all of a sudden? Y'all got all this energy for Africa when y'all energy should be actually directing somewhere else. Don't
Okay.
the Asian people talk about y'all all day when y'all go get y'all nails done, get y'all hair done? So all of this hate just came for Africa all of a sudden. So like I said, we want y'all to go on ahead with the boycott. It's not gonna stop nothing. Ain't nothing gonna
Okay.
change because
Okay.
most of y'all cannot even afford African food anyway. And like I
Oh.
said on every platform that I go onto, please tell y'all women to leave African men alone too. That's what I said to Nana. You came up here with a name Nana, but you got so much to say about Africa. So you must be happy
Men.
Just
for
let
some
her
That's a
talk.
African
real
Just let her
issue.
talk. Just let
That's
her
a real
talk.
issue.
so
Okay.
let's
All
keep the
right.
same energy.
Stupid.
Please go on with the boycott. It's not gonna stop nothing. It's not gonna shake nothing. It ain't gonna move
Okay.
nothing. And that's that.
Okay. Okay.
Still
Uh,
listen, y'all.
let me ask you a question. As
Listen,
since
y'all.
you're saying that we need to be more concerned with everybody else, what should you be concerned with?
What
With
I'm
your
concerned with,
multiple
why y'all
different
so big mad? Because
give me a flag that's in your bio and tell me what are you doing to fix any of the countries with the multiple flags in your bios?
I do for my country. And y'all already know what
You
I
don't live
all
there.
day,
You don't
every
live
day.
in none of those countries.
I
None of
go
the
there all the
countries in your
time.
little bio do
I
you
go
live
there
in.
all the time.
That you don't live there.
So I'm building schools there. I have
You ain't
properties there.
Oprah. You are not building no
I don't-
schools nowhere.
do you
You
know how
need to
much it
stop.
costs to build a school back home? So
Ma'am,
y'all cannot
what
really
school
answer the
you
question why y'all so
you
mad at
Calm
Africa.
down.
What's
stop
the
it.
issue?
Calm down.
Stop.
But your mansions only cost 10,000, and our
Which
houses are
mansion?
worth more than that.
Which
Do you
mansion in
have
Africa
good
costs 10,000?
plumbing in them? You in Nigeria.
I'm
I
not
just
from
heard it
Nigeria.
from
Which
another
mansion in Africa
platform.
costs
Ma'am,
Meaning,
if you
10,000?
don't stop the
ma'am, your
cat, oh
husband
my
is.
God.
Did your husband cheat with a black American? That's why you mad? Because you the first African I heard say stay away from our men. That's what
So
it
why
is.
y'all
Ain't
Your
want to go
nobody
husband
out
always
and
stay
y'all want
away
to
from
boycott
our
the
you
mad and
asking
Africans
the
black
then?
world right now
Americans.
what you think of Nigerians.
Sorry,
Ain't
Afro.
nobody
I
checking,
had to
and
get
no
her.
disrespect, but ain't nobody really checking for Nigerian men like that. I don't know what y'all think. But right now, the world is saying that they don't really like Nigerians. Look at Africa. Africa is saying that
I
they
go
don't
in
really
there every
like
day
Nigerians.
though. But
Ain't
anyway,
nobody
that's all
really
I came to
chopping
say.
at the
Y'all can
bit
never
to
really
get
tell
with no
Africans why
Nigerian
y'all
It
woman.
mad
seems
at
like
them. So
And
it's
you're
I
cool.
ain't even
mad.
trying to hate like that.
It seems
I'm
like you're
really
more
not
mad
trying
at
to hate like that, but ain't nobody. And you done, and you done. Ain't nobody trying to.
Bye, Felicia.
Damson Idris has to be a famous actor, okay? He is Nigerian, but he got to be a famous actor on a hit TV show and a good movie and all of that stuff. Don't name him like he is the average of Nigerians because ain't nobody checking for Nigerians like that, okay? Let's not do that. And she came up here. First off, I'm all like, what was? I remember exactly why I brought her up here, and she came up here on a different energy. Like, well, I just don't understand why are you guys mad at Africans. I'm like, well, no, see, because they be wolfing in the chat room, and then when they get up on the stage, they be playing dumb. They act dumb, and
All
this is
they
why
have to
people don't
do,
like y'all.
all they need to do is kneel to us. That's all.
But it
Bow
seems
to
like she's
us.
more
Bow
mad.
to us.
Yeah, I think she's more mad at Black American women, and that's a personal problem that she needs to fix. So it's like her anger. She wants Black American women to not be in her space at the food shops or wherever because she know that her men prefer Black American women, and that's not
Yes,
our problem.
that's not our problem.
Talking about and listen. Now you hear them; they still so stupid. They saying boycott. Keep the boycott on. Keep the boycott on. Okay, all right now.
And they
So
will
I don't
suffer
want y'all to
because
say we wrong for the boycott. Y'all keep daring it. Y'all are steady. It's in the middle of August, and y'all keep on, or not really the middle, but we are in August, and you guys are continuously talking out the side of y'all neck. Y'all still ain't stopped. So all right then. All right, okay. We don't got no plans to stop it no time soon. Okay.
And Afro League, I'm glad you brought that up too, because you asked them with country in Nigeria. It's a whole bunch of problems going on in Nigeria. And she out here in California, in my state. I wish you would let her up though, because you got a lot of issues going on in Nigeria. I went over to Nigeria. You got Biafra, you got the Oduduwa, you got Boko Haram, you got ISIS, you got the Fulani herdsmen in northern Nigeria unaliving, the Igbos and Yorubas in Nigeria. You got Makoko over there in Nigeria. You got 50% poverty rate over there in Nigeria. They got a whole bunch of problems and issues they need to be worried about going on in Nigeria. Then in Jamaica, she need to be worried about getting the Chinese up out of Jamaica because the Chinese basically own their major airport in Jamaica for the next 30 years over there. So they got all that smoke for us. They need to be having that smoke to trying to liberate their country and being taken over by the Chinese, the East
Mhm.
Indians, and the Arabs over there.
Talk about what our concerns need to be, and they ain't got nothing going on. I'm building a school. Man, you're not building no school. Stop. You are not building no school. What are you doing?
And they're not building no
More
schools,
than
though.
they need school.
But you don't live there though. All right. Okay. All right, Oprah. Let's get to.
A lot of them treat their homeland like a vacation.
They
yes.
do. They go there at like maybe once or twice a year, like on vacation. They go to their homeland less often than Black Americans go to their homeland.
And they do need the FBA dollar because they don't buy from each other unless it's just some foo-foo and or some jollof rice. So they do need our money. That's what's scaring the heck out of them.
Yeah, why they keep bringing it up. Talk about we can't afford their food. Okay.
Flop.
Because we don't buy your food don't mean we can't afford it. I just we're Black Americans, we go to 5-star trust me, we can afford some good food.
Yeah.
Y'all thinking because we walk past y'all restaurants mean we can't afford nothing. No, that's not right. Okay. Sorry to break it to you. That's not why y'all don't have Black American customers. It's not because we can't afford the food. I promise you that. Okay.
Their food is
We be
not
eating
desirable,
good.
and
They're
everybody
not good cooks. They're not. They're
their,
frozen.
their food
Meat is
their food is
frozen.
not desirable. If we can't afford it though, then actually travel all over the world. Me and us travel at least 2 or 3, 4 times a year. So the average plane ticket to Africa is over $1,000. So if we can afford to go to Africa, we damn near can afford their food. But none of them say foundation Black America. We're not going to their restaurants and enjoying food and jollof rice and a goosey soup and
Kendall, bow
malo.
down to you. Why?
Hold on.
Like why went over there?
Wait your turn.
Because
Wait your
we
turn.
were
Yeah,
the ones
yeah. Like
in
why went over
here.
there to Japan? Why went over to Japan and Canada? They was all eating soul food over here, Black Foundation Black American soul
Bow
food. It
down.
wasn't eating no Nigerian food or no African food. I went over to Japan. It's a Foundation Black American owner I interviewed that's from South Carolina and people from like South Carolina, Alabama. You got people all over Japan that go over to this soul food restaurant. It's so good. You have to make a reservation at least 3 days in advance to get in that soul food restaurant out here in Tokyo. Foundation Black America might have been in Japan for 20 years. When I went over to Japan, I didn't see the Nigerian or the African food places, restaurants, full while I went over there to Japan. All the Foundation Black American establishments over in Japan was full. Because
Hmm.
our food is dissolved all over the world.
Yes.
Hmm.
Soul
It
food.
is. It is.
Yeah,
Let's
we're there.
because we're not gonna be on. We've been on here for a few hours. We don't need to be on here like all night. It's already past 12 o'clock. Where I am, BX is already past 1 o'clock. So and I got to be up in the morning. I'm sitting up there doing the most right now. Let me get to 2D strategist.
Yeah, yes, bro. What's up, bro?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
Good, good. Hey, man, I'm African. I agree with the prompt here. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I agree with it. That Black Americans, especially not all Black Americans, but FBAs, definitely need to delineate from Africans and start their own, their own tribe or whatever. It's cool. I respect that a lot. And you guys have put in the work and you deserve every single thing. Everything. You know what I mean? We Africans, we only want to connect with those who recognize their lineage, who embrace their ancestry, their African roots. These are the people I want to connect with.
Okay.
I respect FBA. You know what I mean? Like, y'all do your thing, man. But you gotta
Where
understand that
where in Africa are you from?
I'm from West Africa. I'm from Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Keep going. Keep going.
Do your thing, man. You know what I mean? Like, I
And you
only
said you only want to connect with who?
African Americans.
You only want to connect with African Americans. The
Yes.
people you refer to as African Americans are FBA.
No, but there's a difference between FBA and African American. You got African American that connect with their ancestors in
And here
Africa,
we go again.
Yeah, I
and
knew
then
I knew the pivot
you
was
have
coming. I knew the
Hey,
pivot
you
was
have
coming.
hey,
That's
but
why
FBA.
true.
I asked him.
But true.
That's why I asked him
Hey,
where he's
It's true
from.
though, brother. Am I lying?
oh my
No,
bad.
no,
Hey,
because
but
the thing is that we're not starting anything. We've already been. Let me make this abundantly
And I
clear.
agree. I
Because of
agree.
stop, sir. Because of our ethnogenesis, that by definition and default makes us a different group of people, a different ethnicity of people. We've always been a different ethnic group. We've always
Hundred
been that.
percent.
We
100.
have just not recognized that, and we have never claimed that. We've always tried to reach out and try to claim some ancestry, find some really random ancestry all across Africa. Okay.
You're right,
And
brother. I
now,
agree.
and now enough of us are starting to recognize and take pride in our culture and heritage of this land. All right. So that's what we're doing. The people
I
you're
agree.
referring to, African American, these are the lineage, the same lineage that is a foundational Black American. This is not a group. This is us just having naming the lineage properly, because we've been named many things here. Now we're giving a proper name to the lineage. That's
But
it. Now, if
okay,
you want
brother.
to stop. If you
All
want
right.
to claim, if you want to say, I want to sit up there and work with people, if you want to work with the Pan-Africanists who have an identity crisis and have some type of um, delusional love for Africa or whatever the case is, and don't know who they really are and have ethnic low self-esteem, then go ahead and do that then. But there's not too many of them left. I'm gonna be very honest with you. There's not
Okay.
too many of them left. Most of us don't have an identity crisis. You got people who want to claim, well, I'm just from somewhere in South Africa. I don't even know where. But yeah, okay, fine. If you want to work with people who don't really know where they're from and have low self-esteem and an identity crisis, go ahead and do that.
All right. So this is what I'm saying though. Like, you have some quote unquote FBAs or quote unquote African American that actually claim to have African lineage. So not everybody's gonna be on the same frequency as you, and you have to understand that. Uh,
Do those people have American lineage?
they do, and I
So,
respect. Like I
so
said,
is
I
their
respect.
American lineage? Let me ask you: would their American lineage be closer to their lineage than an African lineage?
Yes, of course, but they
So
still have African
why is
lineage,
it an
though.
issue that they just claim America?
They still do claim America. That's
Your
So
leader
why?
claims
So
African
no,
heritage.
no,
Your
stop,
they
stop,
FBA
claim.
leader
stop,
claims
stop, stop,
African
One
dude.
second,
heritage.
Shut
brother.
up.
Let me dialogue with him real quick.
No, dialogue with me. Don't dialogue with
That's
that.
what I'm saying. I'm saying you.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So yeah, yes. You have black people in this country that ancestors came from Africa that were enslaved here. That's a fact. But now, if FBA come along and say that, listen, we're not Africans, we don't want to claim that, that's fine too. You can do whatever you want because these days anyone can claim whatever they want. You can claim to be a pig, you can claim to be a woman, a man can claim to be a woman can claim to be a man.
Okay,
That's what it
so
is.
right now you're being, first off, you're being very disingenuous, okay, and you're being passive aggressive. You think you're being smart and you think you're being slick, and
Hey, it's true though, brother.
instead of having the maturity of a grown man and
I apologize,
acknowledging,
brother.
stop it. Instead of having the maturity of a grown man and acknowledging that, yeah, FBA is just the most accurate classification of a lineage that has been reclassified throughout its existence. Now we have a newer, a more specific classification, something that we've never had before, because African American, as we've established, because you've been here long enough, can literally mean anybody at this point. You got, what's the dude in New York, Mandani, who's a complete Indian, who can claim, who is also African American. You got Elon Musk, who is also African American. Anybody in their mama at this point can claim African American. All right. So would
We're
y'all
talking
start
about
with
black
that?
people though. Black people. Black
No,
people.
it's not just black people. And see, that's the flaw in it, because it's not just black people who are claiming African American at this point, which is why we have to retire that term. Because now everybody and their mama, even if you're not black, are claiming to be African American.
Eli is not he's not an
No, no,
African.
no, no. They can put their on their paperwork that I was born in Africa and now I am an American citizen. The same way Mandani, who's an Indian who was born in Africa, is also claiming to be African American. On paper, they are claiming to be African American. You have Jamaicans who were born in Jamaica, who live in America, are claiming to be African American. So at this point, you can't tell who is African American and who is not.
We can tell by your
No, you
lineage, brother. We
cannot,
can tell
dude.
by
And
the
now you have
history.
a whole bunch
Your
of
history.
people. You have a whole bunch of people. You're done. You have a whole bunch of people who are now trying to claim to be first generation African American. I don't know if y'all have seen that, or first generation Black American. This is why you need something specific, because I can't go to Jamaica and be a first generation Jamaican. Even if I had a child there, that child would not be considered a first generation Jamaican. That would not happen, or Haitian or Nigerian or wherever. But they're coming over here and everybody is taking claim to the African American term, which is why we need to divorce ourselves from that, which is why we need to retire that term. All right. And you coming up here being slick and thinking that, well, I just want to team up. I don't want to team up with nobody who doesn't recognize Africa. You're not even teaming up with Africans. Africans is not teaming up with other Africans. How
And
about y'all go work on teaming up with Africans before you come over here and try to team up with some people who want to be African? How about
and
y'all?
Alpha and Alpha Lee, he's from the country that's actually selling out Abraham Torre, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast. So he really can't say nothing. He's from the country, the culture of Ivory Coast. That's one of the main countries that's trying to unalive Abraham Torre in Burkina Faso. So he really can't say nothing.
Yeah, he's not slick. Like he's not. He's not. Let's get to, because we've been on for a long time, and like I do have to be up in the morning, so I ain't gonna be on too much longer. So let's get to FBA Detroit.
What up, though, Afro?
What's up, though, brother? How you doing?
You already know I'm a Black American, man.
Mm-hmm.
FBA, African American, whatever you want to call me, but I am a FBA to the
He
fullest.
is an African.
I just want to say this right here, man. I'm a foundational Black American. I got pictures of my great grandparents, brother, great grandparents on both sides of my family. Columbus, Georgia, born and raised. And their parents were from, my great grandparents' parents were from Columbus, Georgia. And I'm 46 years old. So you can kill that noise. Anyway, this is what I want to do. I want to, let's start this off by saying that from what I know, this whole thing started because they got in their feelings when we came up with the term FBA. All right. And so that's what started this whole back and forth. But what I want to say is people do not care about things that don't concern them. Like when you read the newspaper and you see somebody got unalived over a car or something, you shake your head, you say that's a damn shame. You sip your cup of coffee and you turn the page. You know, when you're driving down the highway, you see somebody got in a car accident. You are more worried about the traffic jam that the car accident caused than you are the people that just got bent up into them two cars that were on back of those tow trucks. You're ready to get out of that traffic jam. People do not care about things that don't concern them. So my whole thing is, what benefits are you guys reaping from us calling ourselves African Americans? Because y'all seem to care so much about this. Because see, if I put the shoe on the other foot, if y'all Africans, any one of them countries over there, decided to call y'all self Mexican or Chinese or any other culture, whatever y'all, if y'all wanted to call y'all self Mfugamis, I don't think that Black Americans would wake up and have whole panels every day discussing how y'all aren't Mfugamis and caring about whatever y'all call y'all self. So there has to be something that y'all losing by us claiming FBA instead of African American, because y'all just care too much about that, bro. I'm not going to spend my time every day, all day, talking about something that does not concern me or bother me or affect me in no kind of way. And then I want to say this. I mean, I'm just saying that's facts. People do not care about things that don't concern them. All right, but then I want to say this. When they talk about the culture, you got to realize that America is only 200 and something years old. It's a whole new culture, and we are a whole new lineage. This is a whole new culture, man. This is new. Those cultures over there are hundreds, if not thousands of years old. So they consist of things that are hundreds, if not thousands of years old. America is a new culture. It's a new lineage of people. So therefore, our cultures consist of new things. It consists of cars with candy paint, big rims on them and beat in the back. It consists of hip hop rap music and different fashions. It consists of jewelry. It consists of card games at every family reunion or every get together. It consists of barbecue ribs. This is our culture, brother. If you go to a Black function and you see the same thing at every Black function, that is Black culture. But the culture changes from state to state. When you go to Miami, you see them boys down there riding dunks on 32s, and they speak a whole different lingo than them boys in Texas, where they got the rims poking out on the side with the lights in the trunk, and they walk up. What it do, man? It's a different culture, bro. Then when you go over to California and they doing a crip walk and they listening to this kind of music. When you come to Detroit and you hear us say, "What up, though, my baby?" And then you go to New Orleans and you hear them say, "What's happening, baby?" You see, it's a different culture, different lingo. We have our own culture. Y'all try to define culture by y'all culture. Y'all try to say things have to be thousands of years old. Man, if we've been doing the same thing for 50 or 60 years, it's our culture, bro. You see what I'm saying? Y'all don't respect this culture and y'all don't respect this as our country. That's why y'all are so quick to disrespect us. Because y'all don't respect this as our country. Y'all feel like, oh, the white people, everybody, they don't run nothing. Forget them. We don't have to have their blessings here. Y'all feel like y'all can just disrespect us, and y'all feel like this is not our country. Y'all don't respect the fact that we are. The Statue of Liberty is standing on top of handcuffs and shackles to symbolize the end of slavery. Guess what? We are the only slaves. We were the only slaves. The Statue of Liberty stands on top of handcuffs and shackles to symbolize the end of slavery, brother. We were the only slaves. Somebody mentioned the Irish. Man, the Irish were overseers. They told them that they were white and they gave them a job to oversee the slaves, made them feel important. They gave them a shotgun. You understand what I'm saying? They were not slaves. Slaves were not trusted with pew-pews. You understand? No Irish was out there picking no cotton and building no Pentagon and no White House. You understand? So I don't want to be too long-winded, but I just want to make a few points because I just get tired of hearing people just disrespect us. Oh, we have no culture. Oh, we have no, our culture is a young culture. It's not your culture. Your culture is people dancing around fire barefoot. Our culture is people crip walking with shoes on. Your culture may have people riding on back of camels. Our culture consists of people riding old school Chevys. You can't say we don't
Killing
have
me.
culture because it's not the same as your
I
culture.
know for a fact a Nigerian ain't talking about no damn gang banging. I
And
know
last thing,
for a fact a Nigerian,
yeah,
and
because we don't want to
y'all
talk about Boko
Nigerians, y'all
Haram.
getting drugged
We don't want to
everywhere.
talk
Talk
about
about some
Boko
culture.
Haram
Talk
because
about
we
some
can take the
gang
Crips,
banging.
Bloods, Vice Lords, GDs, and put them all in one list of all the crimes they ever committed, and it wouldn't be a quarter of what Boko Haram has done to Africans, and they are black as well. So we don't
And
want to
FBA
go there
Detroit.
talking about Crips and Blood. But I want to make this last little point. Nigeria is the third most dog consuming country in the world. They eat dogs over there, but you don't hear them talking about that. That's all I got
You
to
know
say. I
what?
had to throw
What's
that in there.
interesting is that they come over here and they talk about some gang banging and stuff like that. Do you not know that we actually have video of stuff that goes on in these other countries and stuff? Now we don't really drag because we're not that type of people. We don't try to denigrate other people's land and culture and stuff like that. But I see videos of folk walking around with severed heads, casually walking around through the streets. Okay, you don't. No matter where you're from, you talk about some gangbang. You can go to the worst parts of Chicago or the worst parts of LA. You don't see folk walking around with severed heads in their hand in broad daylight, running around the street. You do not see
Yeah.
that. Okay,
And
you
Afro,
Afro
can see that on the regular over there.
in
I'd be
Afro
damned if y'all
2014
seen
and
it.
15, they
and
took
Afro Lee.
Boko Haram kidnapped over, they body snatched over 2,000 daughters. They body snatched over 2,000 daughters between the year of 2014 and 15. Boko Haram.
And
I
that,
sleep safe with Crips and Bloods. If you don't gang bang, you don't have to worry about them people. They not coming to do something to you just
and
because
that,
you're this person or this color or of this nation.
and
They worry
also
about other gangbangers. You see,
and
I sleep comfortable. You don't deal with Crips and Bloods, you don't have nothing to do with that lifestyle. You don't have to be worried about Crips and Blood. You see Crips and Bloods come around, you say, oh, there go Crips and Blood. Let me get out of here. Boko Haram, you don't have no choice. Ebola and Boko Haram, I don't want damn parts of them.
and also don't forget about the Nigerian Black X mob. They actually got international mafia in the Nigerian mob called the Nigerian Black X mob. What they do is they go to other countries like Italy, Dubai, and they like to do a lot of human trafficking, in these other countries, especially a lot of prostitute. I don't know if I can say that word. Women from other countries like Italy, Dubai, and Canada and US though. So you got whole entire countries actually banning the Nigerians right now. Like Dubai, they actually issue a full trial ban against Nigerians going to Dubai. Same thing, Qatar, Turkey, even other countries in Africa actually banning Nigerians like Ghana,
Yeah.
Seychelles, South Africans are kicking out South African claims that they are human trafficking the South African woman and prostituting them over there. So they doing a whole bunch of things over in Nigeria. So Nigerians, and also what's so bad for Nigerians, the head of the UK person over there, I forgot, it's part of the Conservative Party over there in the UK. She said she's not even Nigerian no more. That's how much she embarrassed her own people over there. She said she actually forfeited her Nigerian passport. And a lot of these Nigerians, what they're doing is that because they ruin their images on a global scale, what they're doing is that they going to the Caribbean and getting a Caribbean passport saying they're Caribbean now because the Nigerians mess up their image on a global scale. So that's what's going on.
Yeah. The thing is that Detroit was 100% correct. Now, first off, and y'all need to update y'all, resume with the whole Bloods and Crips and stuff like that. That's not even no thing like for real today in 2025. That's not even a thing like it was before. But even when it was at its zenith, at its peak, what the Bloods and Crips were known for was getting into it with each other. They were not known for going out there randomly attacking innocent citizens. That's not what the Bloods and Crips were known for. They were not known for prying on children at school, okay, and mass trafficking children at school, okay. And this isn't to condone everything that they've done, but this is things that they are not known for. All right, these American gangs are not black American gangs. I'm gonna say are not known for sitting up there kidnapping dozens and dozens of children right after they're coming out of school, unlike the Nigerian gangs in Nigeria, which is why people don't want them over in their countries. Y'all keep sitting up there bragging like we don't know the get down. Not only do we know how y'all act in Nigeria, we know how everybody feels about Nigerians at this point. So they are the last people who have any authority to try to sit up there and tell us anything. I'll be there. At all Africa, the Nigerians need to be the most quiet at this point.
I mean, they come and act like it's just all cherries and strawberries falling out of the sky. Like they just one big old happy African family over there. Y'all beefing with the next door neighbors. Hey, that's how our ancestors got sold in the first place. Y'all beefing with the next door neighbors. Y'all ain't living in no peace and harmony over there, man. Cut it out. You try to minimize, justify, and blame. That's all they do. If you say this about them, they'll try to revert it back to something on you. They won't acknowledge what you're saying about them. They won't pay that no attention. They won't even look at it twice. Don't nobody want to look in the mirror. We over here living our reality. Y'all ran from y'all's. Y'all ran from y'all reality. Y'all escaped to a whole new place. One thing about black Americans, when we come to y'all country, we're not coming broke. When we move to Africa, we're not looking for jobs. We're coming here to buy property, build houses, and open up business. Those 1,500 African Americans that moved over there to Ghana in 2019 wasn't now one of them people broke. Now, 16% of all African immigrants live below the poverty line when they come here. These are the people that open up booths and flea markets, work at Burger King and McDonald's. Not every African that's over here is rich, balling, or a doctor or a lawyer. Y'all can cut that out. Yeah. Y'all live in this imaginary world where y'all feel like y'all better than us. Y'all really mad because we all over the TV, all over the radio, all over the magazine, all over the basketball court, all over the football field, all over the baseball field, all in the hospitals, all in the clinics. We're everywhere. Black American has been the face for black people all over the world since the beginning of time. Now y'all fighting to be over here in the country that we're in. Y'all, everything we touch turn to gold. That's why y'all are mad, because we want to separate from y'all. Yes. People do not care about things that don't concern them.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you said that. There was I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna get on to I'm not sure, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I apologize for that. But let me say this: there was two Haitians up here. One Haitian, he was talking about how a lot of Haitians are indigenous to the land and they're not from Africa. And then another Haitian was in the chat room saying, no, we're from Africa. We were taken from Africa, or whatever the case is. What I did is I said, you know what? That's a Haitian conversation. I'm not Haitian. I really don't have an authority to speak on y'all being able to claim indigenous or from Africa. I'm going to let y'all have that, because that doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm not Haitian. That's a Haitian conversation. Y'all get it. Whether I agree or disagree, it's not my business. It's not my place to speak on. So I let them have it. Now, if we want to claim FBA, whether they agree or disagree, it's not their place to speak on. But yet they keep speaking on stuff out of term because they think, honestly, that they have some authority to speak on this. And what we're doing right now is letting them know y'all don't have an authority to speak on this. Okay? Now, if we disagree or have a dialogue amongst each other, that's different. You guys are newcomers here. Y'all don't have an authority to speak on this. The same way we can't go to y'all land and feel like we have authority to speak on what y'all got going on.
Whatever y'all want to call y'all self, we just gonna come in there talking about, man, they tripping. They want to call themselves Brazilians and just have whole panels day after day after day, day and night, just talking about what they want to call themselves. Like, that's ridiculous, bro. Who gonna do that? Like I said, people don't care about things that don't benefit them. So the question is, what benefits are y'all reaping off us calling ourselves African Americans? Because y'all damn sure mad about it, bro.
Yep.
That's true. BX brought a good point. They still got statues of white Jesus over there. Y'all got too many problems to be coming over here speaking on us.
I'd have been left that shit alone. If I was an African, I wouldn't give a damn what y'all called y'all self. That'd be the last thing I'm worried about, bro.
They shouldn't care about that at all.
Shouldn't even care about that,
Let's
bro.
get to
None of y'all business.
how we get to how do you pronounce your name?
Hawardi.
Moradi. Can you speak up a little bit?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, my name is Mawardi. First time talking on TikTok, I'm sorry, but um, seriously, African American, I'm so proud of you guys. I'm dead serious because of you guys. I mean, I'm from Ethiopia.
Okay.
I mean, I used to live in Memphis, Tennessee. So I seen a lot of African American. They are the most generous people I've ever seen. And for everything, for all African, because of what you guys did, we are here. And I really thank you guys so much. And that's all I can say. And because the first time talking, I don't know how to be talking all day, but I'm so proud of you guys. And do what is best for you guys. I'm proud of you guys. That's it.
Okay. Well, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
That was nice. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. It's good to close the room on some positivity, right? That's good. Thank you. You know, I think this was a good live so far. We had a lot of people up here. We gave a lot of good information. Um, I stayed a little bit longer than I wanted to, but this was just a really good live. So you guys definitely, if you want to listen to the playback, go to For the Culture on YouTube, and that's where you can listen to the playback. Okay. If you guys want to listen to more lives and conversations and stuff like this, you guys can follow me. Just hit that follow button. Y'all follow me so you won't miss out on any other live. Y'all can be a part of the conversation. You can be a part of the dialogue. You can listen to the conversation. And we have these conversations on the regular. So y'all make sure y'all follow me. Also, as y'all doing that, y'all can go to the link in my bio and y'all can follow my other YouTube channel, which is Afro Elite on YouTube. The same thing here, Afro Elite on YouTube. All right. So that's For the Culture, for the playback of this. And then that's Afro Elite on YouTube. All right. So that was really good. Let me get BX. You can close us out, and then we'll call it a night.
Hear me? Because my mic been acting up all night, so I haven't really been able to give them the like I wanted to. But I think I hit some good points. I want them to remember they have no authority in their homeland. They have no authority over here. They don't get to dictate who we are because nobody wants them anywhere. Anywhere an African goes, they're being treated horribly. But when we leave America, we're treated like royalty. That's why they act like us when they are over there internationally. See how that works? They've been caught acting like Black Americans. But I think their features give it away every time. So FBA isn't a group or organization. We kind of got away from the prompt. They have no authority in their homeland. They have no authority over Black Americans. We dictate who we are. And if we're going to go to Kendrick Lamar, because I love him so, they are not like us, right? And around here, we're all indigenous. And you know what they say, Afro, that they didn't even think of what we say? Africans were traveling the world before slavery. So they came here, bartered and blended in, and then they became indigenous to the land too. And these Africans don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they need to be humble. We raised y'all. I'm going to tell you like I told the Puerto Rican last night. We raised y'all in New York. We've been here since before the country was a country. We predate the country. We're indigenous to the country, and that's not stepping on the Native American toes because we were citizens before them. We fought for it.
That's true. We were citizens before them. They didn't build anything either. People want to give them credit for stuff they didn't do. Actually, they fought against us here, to be honest. So any credit that they do get, they should be stripped from that. But that's another conversation. I'm going to let her continue. Your
Great
mic is
line.
still, okay.
Okay. Another great live. Thank you to everybody who came out, gifted. Tap the screen and share it. We have about 450 in the chat. They are filling the conversations that we are having. This is definitely for the culture. And I implore y'all to go catch the replay, because you're always going to hear a nugget that you didn't catch during the midst of it, because you could stop and rewind it too. And so, Afro, I got to ask you, when's the next time you're going to be going live? And if we're going to put a pin in this one, because I don't think we really focused on
Yeah,
this too.
we really diverted from the subjects a lot, even though it was good. It was really good, but we really did kind of divert. A lot of the speakers diverted from the subject a lot, and we just kind of went with the flow. But next time, we should probably keep it centered around what the prompt actually is. So we can put a pin in this and then restart this for the next live. I might have time Sunday evening. I will see though.
Cool. Because
Okay.
I'm gonna be busy Monday evening, from the afternoon to the evening. But again, a great live. I want to say salute to all my foundational Black Americans and all the people who get it, who we record writers. I see Rocky in the house, and she is an original American, also known as an American Indian. I want to shout them out to the ones who get it, and don't tell me, don't call myself Black. They just get it. And that's what we're asking the Africans to do, because the boycott isn't only a day, it's a lifestyle. It's going to take more than a year, but they're going to feel it. They're feeling it now, and that's why they're crashing out.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. So, love, peace, light, and reparations to my foundational Black Americans. I love us for real. I land.
All right. Y'all have a good night.